Hello, how you all doing? Before I even start, I just want to make sure that everything's working because I'm using a different computer tonight to what I've usually been using. I'm also using a different microphone. I decided to use my Yeti because it never gets any bloody use, and I thought it's probably better than what the internal microphone on the computer is. Although I'm using the internal webcam on the computer display anyway, so I'm hoping you can hear me and see me properly. So if there's any audio visual problems, let me know. Anyway, let's see who we've got. Hello, Kay. I think you're AKA Chucky. Good guys. If I didn't have my elderly father to worry about, Alan, I could easily just jack the whole lot in here in England. I could rent my house out for over $4,000 a month and move to the Philippines. Do you know something? That is exactly the problem most of us have. I'm planning to hopefully live over there sometime sooner rather than later. The problem is, like most of us, we've all got commitments. For one of us to be able to say, I can just go and have no responsibilities and I can just do what I want to do, you're a very lucky person if you can. But the most of us, we've got a lot of responsibilities and we're stuck here, and you can't just up and go. It's not that easy. It takes a lot of planning and thinking about. But there again, you've got one life. If it's something you really, really want to do, you've got to make it work. And if it's not going to work, then forget it. But obviously, you've got to look into these things. And tonight, I'm going to try and go through a few of these details. That's the title of this video. I thought I'd make this the last video in my Philippine little series for the time being until I get to go back over there again, because obviously I'm back here in England now. Bloody hell. Anyway, thank you, Kay. England is not our country anymore, mate. It's just stress living here. Yes, it used to be lovely here. When I think back to when I was a kid, this was a great place to live. England was lovely. But, as the way things have gone now, and I think technology has ruined a lot of it. It's just, when I got off the plane at Heathrow on Monday, it was Monday the 24th, I got back here. We were driving, I got picked up by my friend and he was driving me back. And there's this big sign saying new digital roads coming. And you know what, that triggered me, because it's just like, from where I've just been and to come back to roads that are going to have cameras and God knows what, looking at you every minute I'm thinking, I don't want this shit. I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit technology and the government looking at you every single thing you do. I'm just sick of it. I just don't want it no more. I just want to leave it all behind. And that's my mentality now. I've had enough. I've had enough of this authoritarian fucking country. It's just pissing me off. It's just getting worse and worse. And although the technology is supposed to be good for us, it's made our lives a lot easier and more convenient, it's also oppressing us. And the oppression is outweighing the benefits. Anyway, let me move on. Hello, Vivian. How are you? I will be going to Ramsey with Kevin and you. Looking forward to hearing all about your adventures, and Tyler too. All the best. Thank you, Vivian. Yes, I've got quite a lot to talk about, but I probably won't even cover it tonight because I'll forget. But yeah, when I see you, I'll give you a chat. Hi, Kevin. How are you? Welcome back. What did you enjoy most about life in the Philippines? The country itself number one, I loved the weather. I absolutely loved the weather. It was just constant heat. Although it was getting a bit, I was in the heat, the full summer over there, so it was the hottest part of the year. But I think in the rest of the year it's a little bit cooler. But I just love getting up every day and it's warm. There's no. So the moment I got back here to England, and when I left England on the 28th of March, it was cold and it was raining. When I got back here on the 24th of April, it was cold and it was raining, and it was like I was shivering, flipping heck. But yeah, the weather was probably the best thing. The scenery. When I was in the car with Ken, we were driving along, and I said to her, "Do you know what? Everywhere I go, there's just beautiful, beautiful scenery." I can only talk tonight from my personal experience. I was in Mindanao, which is like south, so in a rural area, really. I wasn't in, Manila is up north, way up north, a long way away. I wasn't in any big city. I was in a rural area, part of the Philippines. So although there were towns and cities around, where I was might be different to, places further up north. So I can only sort of like talk about what I've seen. But for me, the mountainous area that I was in, and the whole of Bukidnon is a mountainous area. It's just the scenery everywhere you flipping go is just breathtaking. And it's like I said to Ken, we're driving on the road, on the left and the right hand side of the road. Everywhere I go, it's just beautiful. The scenery is fantastic. And I think to myself, well, when I'm driving on the roads in England, it's boring. There's nothing to see. It's absolute crap. But anyway, we have a guest. Hello. You want to join in?
Good evening, UK.
Yeah. Well, feel free, Ken, to join in with the conversation.
Yeah, you said you're feeling lonely, so I'm here for you, Abby.
Yeah, I've sort of like you're the first guest I've ever had on this on these live streams since I've been doing them for quite a while now. So if anybody else wants to pop up onto the screen, I'll have to send you a link. So just say
hello, Vivian. Hello, Kevin.
Hi there. Hello from Gravesend in Kent. That's down south. You wouldn't know that, but don't worry about it. Well, hi, Gary. Thanks for joining the live stream. Kenny is your best mate, Mr. Steve Perry.
Hi, Steve. I'm asking Alan to invite you for a live stream. Maybe we can do it together one day.
Yeah. If you want to come on to the screen, Steve, just say it's not a problem. I can throw you a link. What disasters were waiting at work for you to fix? Funnily enough, there wasn't any disasters, although there was. Well, not for me. I think the worst of it was there was one of the taxis, the Mark 5 Mondeos, one of the chains broke and it's bent the valves, but it's the car is down our other garage. It's not where I am, and I've never had any valves bent on a 2-litre diesel Mark 5 Mondeo. I haven't looked at it properly, but apparently all the valves are bent. So whenever this chain broke, it's got bunched up or something, and it's caused more issues. Because I've had about no end of chains broke, and I've never even had a rocker broken. So this is a bit of an odd one. So I'll go into that one later. But no, it's as work goes. Believe me, Steve, after being away for a month, when I got back and I went back to work on Thursday, just gone, I was in a flipping daze, man. I was on another planet. wasn't even at work. I was just there in body. So the last 2 days, I've gradually sort of like getting back into the flow of things. But the work has been quite easy for the last few days. So just as well, really. So I'm still getting over the shock of being back here. I'd rather be over there. So Tyler is going to want a motorcycle when he is old enough. Yeah. You know the worst thing is, if we were living over there, he could have one right now. So we even went to motorbike shops, didn't we? And we had a look around the motorbike shops. So they're not exactly cheap, I wouldn't say that, but they've got some nice bikes over there. Of course, he wanted the most expensive bike going in the bloody motorbike shop.
Yamaha.
Yeah.
Yamaha.
Yeah, Yamaha. What is it? It's F something. I can't even remember. Thanks,
Yamaha
Vivian.
155, I guess. It costs 300 pounds, Happy. 300,000. Oh no, 3,000. Is it too?
£3,000 for a 150cc Yamaha. It was a road bike. It wasn't. I prefer the dirt bike, which was a bit cheaper, because I thought the dirt bike would be more handy. Because a lot of the roads out where you are terrible. So, but he wanted the road bike, but I thought it's still a bit pricey, especially when he's never had a license or nothing. He needs a bit of tuition. So, but we'll see when we get back out there. Hello, Sam. When you back? I'm back already. I was back on the 24th of Tuesday just gone. Monday I got back. Left on the Sunday and got back late Monday afternoon. Hello, Pete. How are you? I'm just going through a few comments and then I'll bang on about. Yeah, thanks, Sam. You're coming through. Thank you very much, Vivian. I was a bit concerned about using this microphone because you never know, do you? It's. By the way, that reminds me. I've got a cold bottle of Corona beer because they never had no Beck's beer. So. Let me just begin. How long does it take to get to the Philippines from England, and how much did it cost? There's a question. Number one, it took a 12-hour flight from Heathrow to Singapore, depending on what airline you take. I went with Singapore Airlines, and I have to say, them Singapore Airlines, they're pretty damn good. On the main flight, you get 2 meals while you're on the flight, and they're constantly handing out snacks and drinks as well. So, although that amount of time sat in an aircraft seat isn't fun, it's painstaking, and by the time you get to over 8 hours sitting down, you're really starting to get agitated. Sort of like the only. Have you ever used one of them toilets on an airplane? It's like a vacuum, it just sucks it. Sucks it out. But anyway, yeah, 12-hour flight is not funny. For me and Tyler to get a return ticket to the Philippines, which I've just said Heathrow to Singapore and then Singapore to Francisco International Airport in Davao, which is southern Mindanao. That was about a 3.5 to 4 hour flight as well. So it's 12. It's about 16 hours in total. We were on planes just to get there. It cost me £2,400 for the return tickets, and that was probably I got them tickets in around about December time, and that was a pretty good deal because it was nearly £4,000 a bit earlier during COVID. So I think it was worth every penny. definitely. Let me just do another comment, so otherwise I don't want to get too far behind. Loud and proud in west of Ireland. Thank you, Vin. Here's someone we've heard of, Mondo. Hello. Where is your thick woolly jumper? I tell you what, the moment we got back here, I had to put a jumper on. I was flipping shivering. From the moment I got there and I walked out of the airport, which was probably 6 o'clock in the evening, it was a lovely warm heat. And from that moment on, the weather over there was like 34 degrees every single day. Even when the sun was behind the clouds, it was still hot, that kind of hot. And in the evenings at night time, all through the night, I don't think it dropped below 27. And so if you don't have air conditioning or a fan on you, it's pretty uncomfortable. And over a period of time, if you're not used to it, it can get a bit much. I mean, like I keep saying, I was in the height of the summertime. I think from, am I right, Ken? The height of the summer is April, May? Hello, Ken? Can you hear me?
Yeah, just a moment, because my audio is gone. Just a moment, Daddy.
You're a little bit squeaky. Yeah, I'm just saying the height of summer over there is really April. I think it's between March and May or something like that. But it's really hot. It's not that hot all year round. All right, we've lost her. So it was getting a bit much. Even me, I'm sort of like this. It's just too warm. And even in like, how can I put this? During the day, it can be as hot as hell. And if by late afternoon, you'll probably get a shower. It will probably get a bloody good thunderstorm, and it'll absolutely get torrential rain come pouring down. And it kind of cools the air. It freshens the air just a little bit, but not that much. You still have to sleep all night long with a fan on you. If you haven't got air conditioning, you really do need a fan because it's so muggy. And even if I went into the town where all the traffic was, I mean, there's a lot. It's only a small town we were in, Merrimack town. The traffic there was like loads and loads of motorcycles with sidecars, them little tuk-tuk things, cars, pickup trucks, and the air was hot. It was hot air, and it's like you couldn't breathe that well. It was so hot and muggy. So it definitely, if you don't like warm weather, then probably avoid it. But if you do like the warm weather, then it's worth the experience. It's something you have to get used to, definitely. But as I keep saying, all year round, it does get a bit cooler. And there's certain parts over there anyway that are a lot cooler. Where I was, it was just, it's Mindanao, it's quite a warm part of the country anyway. Carl, hello. I've never even met you, but feel like I've known you forever from. well, cheers. Have a beer. Sam, I have mixed the battery warning light today. I have fixed the bat. Oh, good. You'll have to let us know what was wrong with it. Are you having technical difficulties?
Somebody called me in my Facebook, and then the audio suddenly gone. So I blocked him right away.
I have to say though, I've already said this to you anyway, Ken, but from the moment we got over there, you have been like, I've never had this sort of like experience from a woman before. I mean, you have looked after us so well. I mean, you get up in the morning at 3 in the morning and you do your thing, and then you go out and you sort your ducks out, you sort your chickens out. I'm still in bed. Okay. I mean, I know I got up a couple of times, but most of the time I'd stay in bed because it's like it's your little thing. But then you come back and you make breakfast, and then we'll go out and do something in the day, and then you'll make dinner, and you know you've just been the perfect host all along, and it's like you've never you've never got the ump, you never get moody, you're always upbeat, you're always happy. It's almost as if everything you do is just like water off a duck's back sort of thing. So, I just want to thank you for everything you've done, you know, looking after us so well.
That's why sometimes I'm asking you, can you drive for me? Abby,
Yeah.
I feel sorry too.
Every time you offer me to drive the car, I'm like, I don't want to drive the car. I want to sit in the passenger seat and wave the camera out the window. That's my job. Your job is to drive.
Yeah, I've been driving day and night, okay?
I should have drove a bit more because over there you drive on the right hand side of the road, and it's a little bit. I mean, if you're used to driving on the left hand side of the road, it's going to be a bit confusing. So especially when there's no traffic lights and junctions that you don't really know how to negotiate them and stuff like that. It takes a bit of getting used to, I must say. So I didn't want to trash your car or be involved in an accident, and you're quite an expert at driving over there. So, but I'm quite happy. I'm always the one over here that has to drive. So, but for me to be able to sit in the passenger seat and use the camera was great, because otherwise, if I was driving, I wouldn't be able to get no video stuff. And I really did enjoy looking at the as we're driving along at all the vehicles coming towards us.
But we did argue sometime, Abby.
Yeah, I just love the. I know a lot of the traffic out there, so I don't think they have any kind of MOT test as such, or if they do have an inspection of vehicles out there, it must be really basic. They might just walk around the top half of the car and look at the lights and tyres probably. But all the vehicles I saw out there, especially the trucks and that, they're so old, a lot of them, and they seem like they're in a really bad state of disrepair. But I guess it's as long as they keep going, that's all that really matters. But they were a sight to look at. They were interesting. So, and it's the same with all the motorbikes, with the Skylabs, you know, the ones with the boards on the side and all the people sat on them. I mean, I didn't have my camera when there was like 8 people on one motorbike, but it was so funny. It's just so much to see all the time, and all the scenery and all the little houses and shacks and where people were living, all the little sari stores by the side of the road. It's all, I don't know, it's all ramshackle, but it's so interesting, if you know what I mean. For someone like me who's never seen this before, to see how people live out there compared to what they do over here.
But I was living the same house before when I was younger.
Yeah, but you are used to, you were born over there. To you, it's just another day. It's everything you've seen a million times before. I've never seen none of this. I've always been here in England. So I mean, I've been to Europe, and you know, but I've been to sort of like westernized countries where it's not a lot different really from here, apart from the scenery. But over there, especially the way people live, so and what they live in. Now, I know your house, your particular house, you had that built, didn't you? You had that built what, 5 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to say how much your house cost?
Hubby,
Because people like to compare what the price over here is to what the price over there is.
40K pound.
So 40,000. And what about the land the house sits on?
It's free because this land belongs to my father, and all of us, all my siblings, get around 400 square meter.
So basically, you own the land. If
Ang sa live stream, ate kung siguro ka?
£40,000 for a what is a 2-bedroom bungalow, although it looks quite a nice bungalow, it's roomy inside. The bedrooms are fair good size. The bathroom could be a bedroom, the bloody size of it. The living room and the kitchen are pretty big. So there's a fair old amount of room inside the house. You've got 3 air conditioners. You at the back of the house, you've got a tower where you've got that big silver tank, which is like in case the water gets low, you've got a reserve of water up there. So it's all pretty good setup. There's mains electric going into the house. You don't have any gas, but you have a propane bottle connected to the cooker to run that, which I guess that lasts quite a long while. And you've got your internet, and that's it. And
You know how much one tank of that gas, the one I'm using for cooking?
Yeah.
1,000 peso.
That's about £15, I reckon.
Yeah, and then mostly I use it for 3 to 4 months.
So that's not bad going, is it?
Mm-hmm.
When you consider how much you're probably using the cooker, the gas every day to do your cooking, and it lasts 3 or 4 months. That's pretty good for £15.
Mm-hmm.
Your electric is probably your biggest bill, depending on how much you use the air conditioning.
That's why I want you to retire soon. I can feed you over here, you don't need to work again.
Yeah, I know you can feed me. The problem is I'm not a fan of Filipino food.
I am like that too before when I start working in Hong Kong. I cannot swallow the food. But then I learn, after a few
When I
tries.
look at all the different Filipino foods, especially there's a big restaurant area in the town. There's all them foods. I look at them and I think, what is that? I don't even know what it is, and I daren't try it in case I don't like it. But I think it's a case of if you live there, you're going to have to sort of like go through these things one at a time, and you might actually find something you like. But since we're on the subject of food, because I'm being honest, I didn't really get on too well with the Filipino food. I'm kind of used to what I have over here, and
you will learn eventually. You will,
Yeah, I know, but it's all a big learning curve. But when we look at the supermarkets, although the shelves are stacked with stuff, it's just not the stuff that we've got over here. So, for instance, when I said about making a spaghetti bolognese or even just a lasagna, let's just take a lasagna. That was a challenge because number one, we found the pasta sheets, so that was the easiest bit. Then we couldn't find the right sauce. We couldn't find the white sauce to go in with the pasta. We needed some mincemeat. Now I couldn't find.
We have mincemeat in the wet market. You just ask the butcher to mince it because all the meat over here are fresh, right? We don't have frozen meat.
I know, but you see, this is the thing over here. If I want some mincemeat, I'll go to Tesco's and I'll pick it up off the shelf and put it in my basket. Over there, if I want some mincemeat, I've got to go to the wet market. I've got to say to the guy, "Can you put that meat, that beef or steak through the mincer and make it into mince for me?" So
At least you are sure that the meat is fresh, right? You don't know over there that meat you are buying already already dead long time ago, and they make it like put in the freezer for so long. You don't know that.
That's another thing. Where
Mm.
you are, if you want a chicken for dinner, you can go. Well, you can go into the market and buy a chicken, or you can just kill one of your own chickens, pluck
Mhm.
it, and eat it. But the chickens that you've got will be different to the chickens we know over here, because the chickens where you are, they'll probably be thinner and smaller, because the chickens that are grown over here or brought up are sort of like, I think they call them super chickens, where they've got a lot more water in them and they're bigger.
You
But
know why? You know why?
we'll get more meat in them, I suppose, and sell more.
No, because over here, our chicken are just roam around. It's a free range. They can eat everything they want. But the chicken you're saying is in the poultry. Means they are feeding commercial feeds, and they also have injected growth hormones because it's business.
Yeah.
And you are eating those hormones as well, Abby. You know that?
Oh yeah. I
And
mean,
you don't
everything
you don't
here.
you don't really realize a lot of people there get cancer.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, although the meat and everything where you are
Mm.
is probably fresh, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be different. For someone like me, it's going to taste different. It's going to look different. It's going to have bones in it. You're going to have to sort of like negotiate, you know, how to handle these meats and cut them up and everything like that. Like I say, the chickens, the meat's going to be a lot chewier and not so much of it. Where
You know what?
here you can just buy the chicken fillets. Where you are, you've got to actually cut the chicken up yourself, and like I say, it's a smaller chicken, and there's not that much meat on it compared to the ones you've got over here. So I mean, we're so used to having everything packaged up just how we want it, with no bones, this, that, and the other, ready to put straight in the oven.
You
That
know
is,
what? Your vacation over here is just and open up your mind, right? And also you learn a lot. I know because if ever you go to other part of Asia like Malaysia, they mostly eat with spices and those hot chili. But when I was there, I can tell the cook that can you please medium spicy because I'm not used to it. So they will do it for you.
oh yeah, wherever you go in the world,
Mm,
they'll have different ways of doing
that's
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Let me just go through a few more comments quickly. Hi
Okay.
Dan. Uh, Home. Where is Monica? Monica's been at work all this time. So while I've been off gallivanting, she's been working. It is heaven in Phil. It can be heaven or it can be hell. It depends. I'll tell you something. The, the, the biggest problem I had over there wasn't it was the insects. It was I've got that I had to start looking this up while I was over there. I kept getting bit on the legs and well everywhere really by what we thought was mosquitoes. And then I'm beginning to think, is it mosquitoes or is it gnats? And a lot of them they call them no-see-ums. But do you know what? The amount of times I got bit, which was a lot, I never even caught one insect that bit me. Not one. But I keep waking up with bites here, and even if I went out somewhere, I'd get bitten, and I wouldn't even see what bit me. So I reckon it was gnats a lot of the time, rather than mosquitoes. But it's not the fact that the insects bite me. It's the fact that it makes you itch. It makes you get bit on the legs. Your legs they come up in a little lump, and your legs itch, and you want to rub it all the time. However, luckily I had Ken with a bottle of that alcohol. You rubbed my legs down with alcohol, and it was like cold, and it was really nice. So it's like keep going with that. I'm enjoying that. And then we had this like paste you put on, this calamine paste, which sort of like helped it. But yeah, apparently certain people who have certain blood types the mosquitoes and these insects, they can smell you. So if you're like me, you've got a certain blood type, they're going to go for you. And I kept thinking, why do they keep biting me? Why aren't they biting you, Ken? So they obviously don't like you, but they seem to like me a lot.
Yeah, because you said one thing is according to the smell, right? And then according to the blood type. And mostly people, women, especially women who have, lactating mothers, they are prone to insects and mosquitoes because the smell of the milk.
Yeah, yeah, it was very annoying, but I was wearing nothing but a pair of shorts most of the time I was there. And I wasn't always putting we did go out and get some bug spray, which you can spray your legs down, and you can get some liquid you can put on you to ward the bloody bugs off. But if I didn't put it on all the time, which I didn't, so it's my own fault half the time, and I didn't wear long trousers. I guess if you live out there, you wouldn't be wearing shorts all the time. You just put a pair of jeans or something like that and put a top on. But I'm walking around sort of like half naked all the time because it was so warm. So that is one downside is the insects if they do go for you. I presume that Tyler has to finish school before you can move there. Yeah, well, he has his exams coming up in May, I think, and he doesn't finish school till September or July, I think, or July. So after that, then we'll try and work out what we're going to do. So at the moment, I just got to sort of like make sure he gets his exams out of the way and get that done, and then we can think about it a bit better. Glad you relaxed. Oh, thank you, Stephen. Yeah, I'm relaxed now. I wasn't relaxed when I got back because flipping heck, it's like being away for a month and then you come back here. It's like you don't want to be back here. I didn't want to be back here. I was quite happy over there. Corrigine, hello. Love the Philippines vids, very relaxing. Just bought a 2010 Toyota Avensis with 220k miles on it, 1200, no service history. Oh, well, mind you, being a Toyota, it should last well. So hopefully it'll be good for you. A lot of Toyotas over in the Philippines. They seem to be I'll tell you something. The main car that I saw over there was a Toyota Vios. Is that right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Toyota Fortuner and Hilux, this pickup truck.
Yeah, and the Mitsubishi Mirage, which is a kind of a similar car to that Vios.
Mm-hmm.
But the Vios and the Mirages, they seem to be the ones that were used as taxis in the cities.
Yeah, yeah.
I know at the Davao airport there was loads and loads of the Vioses. There doesn't seem to be much of a selection of actual cars over there at all. There's only a few that I saw. I saw a few Ford Fiestas and then some small little Toyota hatchbacks. But most of the vehicles we saw over there, they were all four-wheel drive pickup trucks, SUVs, Ford Everest, the Ford Raptors, Rangers, Toyota Hilux, all kinds of vehicles like that.
Happy. I'm gonna sell my Subaru and buy the Raptor.
Yeah, I know. I do like them Raptors though. They do look mean. They're one meaty looking machine.
It's like a monster truck. I like it. I really like it.
You can fit more people in the back, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's
not good for family, but it's also for business, right? It's double purpose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're good because you've got the bed in the back, and also you've got, you can fit 5 people, passengers anyway, inside the cab area. Because it's got the seats behind the driver's seat for the passengers. So yeah, but they do look good. I have to admit, I do like them. Are you buying some chickens or just buying the out of date eggs at supermarkets to save money?
No, outdated.
No, but over here I wouldn't buy chicken. Mind you, all your chickens are just, mind you, yeah. I'll point this out. Living at your house compared to living here. When I wake up in the morning here, it's silence. You don't hear nothing. But where you live, you've got the cockerels going off every 2 minutes, chickens running around. You've got, because of the heat, the air is alive with insect noise. It's just like crickets and all that. And it's like there's it's never quiet. There's all there's lizards. There's in your house. There's lizards. These little gecko things, little green lizards, and they run up and across the ceiling. They even come onto the actual floor where you walk, and I was sort of looking at when I first saw them. I thought, oh my god! But after a few days of them being there, you kind of think to yourself, well, that all they do is eat the bugs. That's all they want. They're harmless, and you just ignore them after a few days, and it's just like that's part of life out there. Because of the heat, you can't stop them coming in the house. All your windows are wide open, but the way the houses are designed out there, you've got bars built into the brickwork so that people can't, break in, sort of thing, or come through the windows. But you have to have the windows open, otherwise it'll be too muggy. I think the only time you close the windows is when you actually put the air conditioning on. But you don't always have that on. So, because that's the trouble. When you put the air conditioning on for too long, it's going to knock your electric bill up. All future smart motorways have been stopped as they are too dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised. I've not looked into this, but it's like when I hear of motorways and digital roads and all this crap, I'm just like, more cameras, more government, more, taking your number plate everywhere you go. There's I think most people, it's because of your safety, isn't it? It's to make you safer. Haven't they ever thought some of us don't want to be that safe? We just want to live like normally, where you can just drive on the roads how they used to be. But it's like this is the way this country's going. Everything is being controlled. Every aspect of your life is being controlled until there's no. Although it's convenient, there's just no fun in nothing. You don't feel like you're living anymore. Hello, Paul. How are you? How are you? Hope you had a great time. Enjoyed it. Thank you, Paul. I didn't really do much in the way of videos out there. I just basically waved the camera around when we were driving around and sort of like just went to a few places. The unfortunate bit, because where we were in just outside Merrimack Town, which is in Buchanan, Mindanao. We were like probably 2.5, 3 hours drive from the coast. So we were quite well inland. And Mindanao is like a massive land area. Although the Philippines is made up of like over 7,000 islands, we were on the biggest land mass of the lot. So it would have been nice if we were on some little tropical island with white sand beaches, but obviously even in the Philippines, there's a reality check. So, and when we did try to go to, what was it, Cagayan Island?
Camiguin Island.
Camiguin Island. The pictures look so lovely. It had these beautiful white sand beaches, and oh my God, I thought, let's go there. And so we drove to the coast, got to the dock where the ferry was, and then the guy comes over and bursts our bubble, doesn't he? Have you been vaccinated? No. well, the only way you can get over to Carnegie Island, you're going to have to take a rapid antigen. And you know what the problem is? As we found out, if we'd have gone to Bohol on a ferry, we could have just got on the ferry and gone. But this particular island, this is where you get, I reckon it's the corruption, or some governor is still keeping his COVID business alive, because you have to pay to get a rapid antigen test over there. And I bet you the price of one of them antigen tests is quite expensive.
1,500.
Yeah, whatever that is going to be in pounds.
The 4 of us gonna be £100.
Yeah, so I mean, for £100 for 4 of us to take antigen tests, just so we could get on a ferry and go to a little island. That's how they're making, money. So,
no, one thing I'm worried about, if ever one of us have the positive, then you're gonna need to do quarantine, and then it's gonna be trouble for you.
Yeah, so I mean that's another thing. If we'd have gone for this test and tested positive, then we could have been sort of like, oh well, you can't go nowhere now. You've got to go into quarantine, and it's just a flipping nightmare. So we just dropped the idea altogether, and then we found that little beach anyway, which was really nice, and the water, the ocean water was it was lovely. It was so warm. It is like when you compare the ocean to that swimming pool we went to, that MGG resort. The swimming pool was freezing cold like the Arctic, and yet the ocean was lovely and warm. Yeah. Dan, anywhere the weather is better than in the UK? Well, the thing is that the summertime here, like last year, was brilliant. I'm hoping we're going to have a nice summer here this year, because I really don't like the cold weather anymore. But then again, the older you get, it's sort of like you don't want the cold weather. And it's not just that. When we've got cold weather over here, because the electricity and the gas and all that have gone up so high now, they call it the cost of living crisis. Although they brought all this on themselves, and they brought it on us on the back of COVID. We're paying an absolute fortune now just to heat our homes. So this is another thing which is depressing about living over here. You're working, pay all these bills all the time, and the bills are getting more and more and more. The price of food is going through the roof, gas, electric. Then you've got the council tax and all the other bloody bills flowing in. It's like when I compare what I have to pay here just to survive compared to what you have to pay over there. So
you know why? Do you know why? Because all your stuff over there are imported. You need to pay for the import tax, and they will add that to the value of the food or everything you buy over there.
A lot of the problem over here is the government went down their green route, their green subsidies. That's one reason. They've got enough oil here. They can do enough oil here to be self-sufficient, but they won't drill it because of the green bullshit. That's what's making the price of all our energy so high. So it's not good. And I look at the price of what I have to pay here compared to what you're paying over there. You haven't got to worry about the council tax, for instance. It's just like you can live out there quite free, where here, no matter what we do, we're getting bills slung at us right, left and centre for this, that and the other. And it costs an absolute fortune to live here. So most of my wages go on paying for just living expenses, which weren't too bad years ago, but now after bloody China virus, everything's got so much more expensive. Anyway, I had a few little notes wrote down for the things I was going to talk about. There was some. I'm pointing this out. There was some guy who left me a message on one of the videos. I forget who it is now, but I'd love to thank him anyway, because he said that when you leave the Philippines to come back to whatever country you come from, say like the UK, you have to pay a tax at the airport. And I didn't know.
Andrew.
Yeah,
Is it
I
Andrew
didn't,
from? He is from UK, but he's living here in Philippines for 9 years already, I guess.
mm,
That's Andrew.
well, I wasn't. In all of my airport notes and everything like that, I wasn't told this. I didn't know this at all until he left a message on one of the videos. So I thought I'd look into it. And I don't know if this applies to all the airports. Like, I don't know if it applies to Manila, the big airport, but where the Davao airport in Mindanao, it does apply to. So I made sure for me and Tyler that we had 2,000 pesos between us at the airport. And when we got to the airport to immigration, there was a woman behind the counter, and she said to me, do you have the airport tax? And I think it was 750 pesos each. And I said, yes, we do. But the funny thing is, when I gave her 2,000 pesos, which was 2 notes, she had the she had the cheek to say to me, have I got any change? Because she hasn't got enough change to give me. I said, you know what, just keep it. Just keep the change. And I let her have the 2,000 pesos, even though it was only about 1,500 I should have given her. Because I had no change. I only had 2 notes. All I wanted to do was make sure I could pay the. And you know what? That money we had to pay.
You should get her. You should get her name. We can report that. That is illegal.
I wasn't.
We
No,
can kick her out from the job.
yeah, but I wasn't bothered about giving her change in that.
No, you feeding this. You're feeding this termites in the government. No.
Yeah, but I couldn't do nothing about it. They never had no change, apparently.
What? She will always do that to all the people, all the foreigners.
It probably was a scam, but there's nothing I could do about it.
No, it's just a tactic.
Yeah, well, she got a tip.
You
Then,
should have tell me right away. We can get her name and then report it. Davao is very strict.
but anyway, the point I wanted to make was you have to pay this airport tax before they'll let you out the country, and you have to pay it in cash. Forget about swiping your Wi-Fi card because they don't have them there. It's either cash or go away and get the cash and come back, or you ain't going out the country. It's as simple as that. Or do you want to mess with the guy with a shotgun over there, the guard? And they do have the army walking around the airports with their machine guns. So, yeah. Are you getting married and fast tracking your visa to live and work? Well, hopefully it will be in time when I can get everything sorted out here.
He don't want to marry me. He has commitment issue.
I haven't got commitment issues. I'm just I said earlier, it's not a case of just up and going. There's so many issues and commitments here that have to be sorted out. I can't just walk away from everything. So whatever I do, I'm going to have to plan it out carefully and make sure I do the right thing. So I wish I had no commitments. Then I could just say stuff it, but I can't. So you got to slog it out. Thank you for covering my pissed off rants, but the UK is horrible, as is my Mondeo. I reckon it's that vaporizer. Yes, car trouble. Them vaporizers, if that's the 2 litre diesel Mondeo, they do block up a lot. Oh. Yeah, and I'm the same with this country. It's just it's not the same place it used to be. Soren, share your opinion on today's life, uncertainty, whatever place you're in. Yeah, there's certainly a lot of uncertainty in this country. That's for sure. GP Som, good evening. Enjoyed all your videos while you was away. Well, thank you very much. They weren't sort of like really planned that well. Just sort of like making things as they go along. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of like wave the camera and show the area I was in. Really, it was all fascinating to me to see a different way of life. Vivian, nice for you. Hi Ken, great to see you. Nice surprise.
Hi, Vivian. You can come and visit me here.
And Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Alan and Ken are brilliant. Well, thank you, Kay. I'm going to make a brilliant glass of Jack Daniels in a minute. Now this beer's nearly gone. Better connection and quality from Philippines than your UK webcam. I'm using a different computer today, and I'm also using this Yeti microphone, which I thought was a good idea to buy, but I've hardly ever used it, so it's just collecting dust. So I thought I'd try it tonight because I'm not sure about the webcam, well, the microphone in these computers. So I thought I'll see how this Yeti thing does. Yeah, we were talking about how different things can be from here in the UK to where you are. Here's one of them, which I've probably banged on before about, but I'm going to bang on about it again. Over here, when we pay our utility bills, well, let me go back quite a few years. We used to have checkbooks over here. Before credit cards and debit cards and all that, we had checkbooks. And at the end of the month, you would probably write out a check for your gas and electric and all that, and you would send it away because you would get a letter through giving you your electric bill. Say you'd write a check out, send it back to them, and that'd be that paid. These days over here, nearly everything. Well, I think it pretty much is everything. All the bills I pay are paid by direct debit through my bank account. So when I get paid my wages from work, they'll go into my bank account. Then my electric, my gas, my council tax, my this, that, and the bloody third, all goes out without me having to do a goddamn thing. So all my bills are paid. As long as I've got money in my bank account, these companies will keep taking the money out to pay for everything each month. Where you are, you've really only you haven't got to worry about council tax because they don't have that crap there. The only bill you've got to pay is, well, two bills. One is your internet, and two is, well, that's as long as you want an internet connection in your house. But your main bill is your electric bill. Mm-hmm. So how can I put this? A lot of the houses, well, they're not houses, are they? But a lot of the residences where you live, they can be nothing more than a tin shack. Mm-hmm. So you've got this, you live in what's called Camp 1, and you live in a barangay, which is so many residences, even though they're little shacks and little makeshift houses, they're in the middle of like a jungle, basically. So they can be scattered all over the place. But you've got electric going to nearly all of these residences. And there's a little meter going onto your house for the electric. Mm-hmm. And when this guy will come round to your house and he'll read your meter, and then he'll knock on your door and he'll give you a slip of paper telling you that you owe this much for electric for whatever month.
Mm.
So what do you have to do to pay your electric bill?
I need to go to the office and pay over there.
So you can't pay by direct debit. You've got to go somewhere and pay them in cash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so we're talking about going back to like the 1970s. That's the kind of thing you'd have to do. You'd go to an office to pay your electric bill. And also, I have pointed this out as well. There isn't a letterbox at your door, is there? There's no postman. You don't get junk mail coming through your door every day. Well, because you don't get no mail anyway, do you?
No, because nobody will come over here, right? Because they scared of the dog.
How would you say your time over in the Philippines was?
I mean,
Hi, Tyler.
how you doing, Ken? I can't really put like a word on it because it was half hell, half heaven. You understand that on one side you've got the mosquitoes and the horrible heat, but then you've got so much freedom. It's pretty. If I would have to give it a rating, I'd just say just go out there and try it for yourself. It's a lovely place, and you need to understand. If you live in the UK, you don't realize how oppressed you are until you go to this country because it's so free, and the quality of living is pretty nice.
I keep your helmet clean.
Thank you very much. I'll come back to it. I spent good money on that.
Yeah, you got to drive the car and you got to ride motorbikes over there, so you were happy.
Oh, I was very happy. Living the American dream.
He's driving quite fast, you know. And he learned easily. Just one, you know.
Yeah, and it's just amazing that you can do these things. Like you have whole families sat on motorbikes with the baby as well.
Yeah.
And that's just life there. That's just the way it is. No one even bats an eyelid at it. Yeah, over here, it would be like shock, horror, quick, get the police onto them. What the hell are they doing? You know, you can't do that over here. But over there, it's just, you know, like 30 people in the back of a pickup truck, all driving down the road. You know the jeepneys where they've got the bars at the very back, people just hanging on to the bars because it's so full inside. And you have trucks going down the road, great big juggernauts with people all sitting on the top of them. You know, it's just another world. And it amazes me on all these these mountainous roads. You've got all these pickup trucks that are full of probably workers in the back that are going out to some field to chop the sugarcane down, no doubt. Yeah, the bloody SUV or pickup truck is tanking down around these mountainous roads with all these people in the back, and I'm thinking, aren't they worried about if that truck was to skid or bloody something like that, have an accident? But they don't seem to have no fear. Even the children that like little babies that are sat on these motorbikes and they're zipping down the road, they're fearless, aren't they? It's just another day for them.
Just normal.
Yeah, but to me, watching it, I'm like, I'd be scared. I'd be worried about it.
We talked about how we're basically celebrities over there because we're white chocolate.
No.
You wouldn't believe it over there. Everyone on the street is so friendly. They always say hi to me or always ask me where I'm from but in English. I don't see why people say often.
You look like a celebrity over here.
The amount of times he got chatted up is unbelievable.
And then when they found out that Tyler just 16, oh my God, so young. Because most of these girls is above 20s.
It does amaze me though. Because I look at all the little shacks that people are living in, and to me, I'm looking at these shacks from the outside. Although I never went inside any of them, I'm looking at them from the outside, and I'm thinking, I don't think I want to live in that, because it looks like a right horrible little shack that's going to be horrible inside. Yet the people who come out of these shacks are dressed like pristine. And I see all these school kids in their uniforms, and they look so smart. And you know, everybody you meet out there are so happy and welcoming, and hello, how are you? And you know, they're so friendly. The only thing I will say is, what I noticed is the tramps. You know, the people that are homeless that just beg on the streets. They are different to what they are over here. Over here, they might ask you for money, or they might sit on in front of a shop window or something, begging or something. But over there, nearly all of them that we encountered, they come right up to you, and say for instance you're in your car, they'll tap on the window, or we're sat at a little cafe at a table chairs, and they'll stand right up in front of you, and they'll put their hand out, and they won't go away. They'll just stand there. They will stand there and bloody stand there until you give them some money. Then they'll go away.
But actually, they are not living here in Maramag, because our local official will kick them out. We don't.
What I'm saying is, when they come up to you, say you're sat in your car, they'll tap on your window, and if you just look the other way, normally in this country they just walk away, but over there they don't. They just stand there like this, and they'll stare at you, and you could sort of like ignore them as much as you want. They will not go away until you open the window and give them some pesos.
Yeah.
It was quite unnerving some of the time. It's like when we were getting T-shirts. The first one I encountered, we were buying T-shirts in Malay Balai.
Yeah.
This guy came up with a piece of paper, and he held this piece of paper with some writing on it, which didn't know what it said. And I kept turning away from him, and he just stood there for ages, and he wouldn't go away. And eventually, you open your purse and give him a couple of pesos, and he pissed off. Anyway, apart from that, should we go on to your pastime over there, karaoke?
And Tyler threw up.
Well, karaoke in the Philippines is a big thing, because it's everyone out there, or most people out there, you're kind of like family orientated. It's not like, how can I put it? You all gather together quite often, and you have your karaoke nights.
Mm-hmm.
And the karaoke night we had, it was brilliant. I loved it. I can't wait to have another one. You've got this big sort of like frame with a tin roof where you all gather. You've got tables underneath. You bring the TV set and the karaoke machine, plug it in, and let me just point this out. All year round, it gets dark at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So over here in the UK, it can be like 9 o'clock at night during the summer, and it's still light. Over there, all year round, it is dark by 6 o'clock in the evening. So that's one downside, really, because it would be nice if it was lighter longer, but it's not. That's just the way it is over there. But you can have this karaoke night, and all your friends and family will all come around. You'll get your alcohol and your mixers and your food and everything, and maybe you'll have a whole pig that you'll roast, and you'll have a whale of a night. The one thing that I will point out is what we noticed. There's like a warning goes off 2 times a night, isn't there? There's a
Yeah.
siren that goes
There
off.
is.
What the hell is
Yeah.
that siren? And at 10 to 10 in the evening, and at 10 o'clock in the evening, there's a siren that goes off, and it's to warn about keeping the noise down. It's the barangay captain or something, or whatever, makes this megaphone going off to let you know to switch your music off. Although we didn't seem to switch our music off, we just carried on. So but there again, where we were, there was no one we were disturbing because the whole neighbourhood is all involved in the karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you have everybody in the whole area, they don't care. Music and karaoke is a big thing to them. So it's all one big party. So everyone's happy. There's no over here you would have what's called curtain twitchers. They'd be looking at their curtains, sort of like, oh, he's got his music on. I'm going to call the authorities, or blah blah blah. That's what it's like. But over where you are, when you get the karaoke machine out, the whole neighbourhood comes out, and they're all having a drink and a feed and a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I never was karaoke again after last time.
He got drunk because he took too much
He
drink.
threw up 3 times.
No, it was only 2 times. But it's because I was fine, and then like I got offered another drink after I was already drunk, and then it just started. And I have videos to prove of my humiliation. Oh man, I played myself like an idiot.
He sang and danced like.
The guy there in the red shirt, though, he was lovely. I really enjoyed him. I think it was Carter's guy.
my cousin.
He was so nice and friendly, like everyone over there's so kind, honestly.
Yeah, it's once you get speaking to the people, all you got to do is say hello, and they'll say hello back, and they're so friendly. It's like, do you know what the funny thing is? When I walk down the street here in this country, I don't say hello to anybody unless it's someone I know. Yeah, over there, you kind of feel like you should say hello when you pass someone.
It's like become our attitude, like meeting someone, or like especially when you enter to any establishment, even you have to say good morning or hi to the guard, the security guard.
You want some alcohol?
Yeah. Yeah, it's even all the security guards, they're all so happy and so nice.
Yeah, when you enter this supermarket, they'll say good morning to you.
Jarno, hi Alan, do you have Filipino Wi-Fi? Not yet. Maybe soon.
Look at that. You put the cap off like it's not fully.
Is that yours?
That's yours.
I was going to have a Jack Daniels.
Oh, you can't have one.
Well, I guess I won't be having Jack Daniels tonight because after I've had this one, that'll be enough. This is Corona. I've got coronavirus beer tonight.
Oh.
It's not made in China, is it?
No China.
We keep seeing them MG cars over there.
Mm-hmm.
Mate,
Your favorite car?
no, every time we saw an MG car, I'd say to Ken, quick, get away from it in case it catches fire.
Yeah.
Is Ken drinking a cup of tea? I don't think you drink tea, do you? You have a hot chocolate in the morning, and that's probably it. Then you just drink what I don't even know what you drink. What do you drink?
Choco. Mm-hmm.
It's called Milo, and then you drink probably water or something.
Uh-huh.
We did try the Red Horse beer.
I did last after you left. I cannot sleep. I have one can of Red Horse beer.
Yeah, I don't think it's not as strong as what I thought it was going to be. But I did like the San Miguel Lights. They weren't bad at all. I'm trying to flick through a few of these comments as well. Are we eating balut live on the stream, or should I say egg candy? If you're brought up with eating the balut, you're kind of like, I mean, you and your daughter eat balut like how? I mean, Nicole's what, 11 years old?
Mm-hmm.
She's 11. Ken's daughter's 11 years old, and she'll eat a balut like it was nothing, like it was a candy bar. And I tried it, and do you know what? It didn't taste that bad at all, really. It was just like a chewy egg. If that was just a hard-boiled chicken egg, it would be easy. You know, they just dissolves in your mouth, really. It was just like a chewy egg. It was all right. But I mean, it's the very fact that knowing what it is, a duck fetus, is what puts you off badly. So, but if you forget, if you take out of your mind what it is and just eat it, it tastes okay. So, but no, but balut is not for me. Nor is the durian or durian. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Stephen. Stephen Robinson. He owned the Robinson Mall, I guess.
Pete, hello. Anywhere is better than the UK. I used to love it. You know, this country used to be great. It used to be fantastic. I think you can blame Tony Blair because he started it all, didn't he? With his open borders. What's going on now is just disgusting. It's no wonder so many people are so disenfranchised with this country now. I think a dirt bike, but with road tyres, would be the solution. Off-road tyres on tarmac do not last, and on wet roads do not grip. Yeah. The problem is where Ken lives, you've got the main roads, which they're either tarmac or they're concrete, and they're not smooth. I wouldn't say they're smooth. There are some stretches of road that are pretty damn nice, but most of the roads are sort of like a bit bumpy, especially the concrete ones. But when you go off the main road to say you want to get to a friend's house or a relative's house, their roads are pretty non-existent. It's just like dirt tracks. So you want to go to your sister's house, or you want to go to that woman who buys eggs off you, you go in really slow because you're on just a rocky rubble road, really. It's just a track. So there's not much in the way of infrastructure as the way as roads go, as once you get off the beaten track. And another thing I noticed when you're on the main roads, wherever we wanted to go, it was like one road takes you all the way there. So when we wanted to go to the coast, there's, you know, that here in England, you've got every like half a mile, there's a bloody roundabout or there's a junction that you can turn off and this, that and the other. The whole time I was over there, I only ever saw one roundabout. And that was coming up to one of the cities. But everywhere else we wanted to go, it was just one road. It takes you all the way there. So we wanted to go from Merrimack Town to Davos City, which is 170 kilometres.
Mm-hmm.
There was just the one road. It was like, I couldn't get my head around it. I'm thinking, where's all the side roads to take you off to other places? Maybe I've missed them or something. I don't know. I didn't see any side roads. But I'll tell you something. When we had to go from your town back to Davos City, we had to go over this mountain because there's this mountain was in the way. And it was like the views. When you get to the top of the mountain, you've got loads of these hairpin bends and you're driving through up and up and up this mountain. When you get to the top of the mountain, you can actually pull over if you want to and just catch the views. And the actual, I don't know if I can bring this up, Let me have a look. I think I can. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. You see that background there, that digger. I know this. I haven't got a green screen here, but you see that digger.
Ah.
That was on the way back to the Davos City Airport. It was like I don't know what they were doing there, but there was another digger on the other side, and they were just laying there doing nothing. There was no one around, so we just pulled into this yard for a break on this bit of gravel, and there was these diggers there. So I thought, well, there's a digger. There's a good opportunity for a selfie. So what do you do when you see a digger that's just lying around? You jump on it, obviously, and get your picture taken. It was a rusty old thing, but it looked so good. And there was just like a cliff face that just went down. So sort of like here in England, you would never be allowed to go to a site where there was any like plant machinery and just walk in and play around and do what you like. It'd all be fenced off. But there, me and Tyler just climbed onto it and no problem. And then there was this sheer drop, but which was behind me. It had fallen off and to your death, I guess. But there's no one. There's no one there to tell you not to do that. When you said, especially when it comes to driving, you are the navigator of your own life over there. Do as you please. It's your life. So obviously you've got to be careful. You've got to have your wits about you. And I guess if you're a local, you know how things work and you know what to watch out for. I would tend to avoid all the big trucks if possible because I don't know what could fall off of them. Because they look a bit like I'm really not sure about the maintenance of these things, and God only knows. But I did enjoy looking at them. They were interesting. It's like going back in time. I think a lot of these vehicles are probably from World War II. There was a lot of older army trucks, as well as the jeepneys. The amount of jeepneys we saw, and some of them were in such a bad state of disrepair, but they were still being used. And I don't know what these other jeepneys were. There was like a more modern type of jeepney. I didn't catch the name of them. They were sort of like a spin-off. But it was like fantastic, the amount of different vehicles you see that were so old now. And they'd all been done up. A lot of them been customised in so many different ways. It was just interesting. Good, interesting Simon LC. Good, interesting vlogs of Philippines. Well, thank you. When I get back out there, I'll be doing a lot more. The trouble is, I had a month basically, and I lost nearly a week in travelling. It took 2 days to get there and 2 days to get back, and the rest of the time I was out there, it's not enough. I mean, even like just over 3 weeks we had out there, I haven't even scratched the surface. I would like to just sort of like have so much time I could just, walk around. I would like to have got out of the car so many times and just walk down the street with a camera and just filmed everything. And I think that's what I'll probably do in the future when I get back out there. But it's like you try, even the 3 weeks I had, half the time you're struggling to find things to film and stuff like that. And you need time to sort all these things out and find the right things to film. So it's difficult when you're always up against the clock. But I don't know. I think I've got a fair old bit since I was out there from the area we were in. But obviously where we were doesn't resemble the rest of the country. We're in just one small area. But it was good. It was a total different experience to what I've ever seen over here. And you know what? For what it costs to go over there, I don't give a shit. it was worth it, every penny, 10 times over, just to get out of this country and see another part of the world. And I loved it. Jono, you are my Ford hero. This Filipino side of you is new to me. I have Philippines also. I have Filipino wife.
Ah.
You know what, John? There aren't many Fords in the Philippines. That's one thing I noticed. Because the big joke was, how many Mondeos have I seen in the Philippines? And zero, absolute zero. I will say that there probably is Fords up in the Manila area. There's got to be. You have a friend who's got a Ford Mondeo, haven't you, Ken?
Yeah. In Negros. He is Ramel Atienza. He was inviting you to meet him, right? But we need to cross the ocean first because he's living middle in Philippines.
Yeah. They call it the 1,000-mile island. You probably, unless you know this, the Philippines would stretch from the tip of Scotland right the way across the English Channel and halfway through France. That's how big the Philippines actually is. Although there's 7,000 odd or more islands, it doesn't look much on the map either. But if you put all the landmass together, it's a lot. It's a big place. And I didn't think it was that big until I got there. And then I started to realise how long, when I'm looking on the map where we are, how long it actually takes us to get from the Davao city to Maramag and Maramag to the coast. It's like it's a long journey, even though it's one bloody road. Although we're not really going fast, it's still it's a long way just to get anywhere. And that was another thing I was going to point out, which I didn't quite get. It's just the humidity out there. Say, for instance, when we went out early in the morning and you've got the air conditioning on in the car, and the windows are misting up on the outside, even the side windows. I went to one, so I thought, well, you can't see out the mirror because the side windows all misted up. So I put my hand on the window and it's dry. It's on the bloody outside. And there was water built up on the outside of the windscreen as well. And even if you turn the air conditioning off, it makes things even worse. The windows are steaming up even worse. So it's like if you're driving around in the daytime with the air conditioning on, it's fine. You can see perfectly well. But when it's dark and you've got the aircon on and you're trying to drive, the windows are sort of like you can't see through them very well because they keep misting. Anyway, I better get off that subject. So, my trip to China was 11 hours and 12 on the return. They take a different route, didn't they, on the way back? I noticed that because you know on the plane they have the little screens. They've got like a flight indicator which tells you your route. And I noticed that going there and coming back was two different routes. And when I was coming back, it was about 13 and a half hours on the plane. Flipping killer that was. November in China was only 28 degrees. Well, that's not bad, is it? I'll take it as degrees Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius.
Are you both an item? Well, we are really, yes. Although we don't tend to go too much into relationships, sort of like details on the internet, 'cause, you know. But yeah, we are. We've known each other for 18 months now. So we thought we'd better meet. And I wanted to go to your country anyway. And I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
It's a life changing for you, a whole new world.
It is. It is. It's so. Do you know what? It's the problem is you've got one life. So, and when someone like me, I've always worked. I get up every day and I go to work and I come home, and it's like I don't do nothing when I'm here. I don't have a fantastic social life. I just don't have it. I come here, I eat my dinner, I piss at my. I mean, I make videos, so that takes away some of the boredom for me. So, but you know, when you get to a certain point in your life, you think to yourself, I don't want to work my entire life. I want to get out and see a bit of the world. I want to go places. I want to do things. So you've got to make these things happen, because you know, living to work is not the, and unless you really enjoy your work. I mean, I used to enjoy my job. I still do to a certain extent, but it's sort of like it's not the same. There comes a point where you want to change your life, and I don't want to be working for the rest of my life just to pay for the electric bill in in this place. I would rather spend my last penny and go and experience something else in the world. Go and see something new. At least when you go and you explore places and you travel, you can tell stories. You've got something to tell later on. I don't want to sit here and say to grandkids, hey, well, I haven't done nothing in my life. I just sat in my house. It's like, at least when you get out and you travel, you'll experience things and you'll see new things and you'll do things. And this is the whole point of like why I do these videos now, why I do these live streams, because I've got stories to tell.
The adventure is out there,
It's in America.
but south.
Paradise Falls. Da 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 da. Alan, Kenny's the best. You need to play her some love songs. Eric Clapton, Wonderful Tonight, and I'm your lady. You are my man. We need some 80s love in the house. Well, we've just been playing Up from Pixar. Carl and Ellie.
Carl and Ellie. Yeah.
Philippines and its people get a 10 out of 10 from me, Alan. The funny thing is, there must be a lot of crime in the Philippines, just like everywhere. I mean, let's take America now. Now you've got all this defund the police crap. But when you look at the Philippines, and my first initial impression was everyone's great. I can't really fault anything. Everyone's so friendly and kind and nice. Yet when you look around and you look at all the shops and they've all got a security guard, there's soldiers walking down the streets and there's checkpoints, isn't there? Like when we go into Davao City, before you can enter the city, you have to pull up at an army checkpoint. And they're standing there with their bloody big assault rifles. And that's for a reason. And you've got to remember that where we were was where ISIS went up close to, I guess it was fairly close, because you've got Marari City, which is just to the west of where you are, northwest a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You had the big siege of Marari City where ISIS came up through southern Philippines a few years back. There was a big siege there between the Philippine army and that. And after that, they had to seal off the entire Mindanao. And Mindanao was completely sealed off for quite a long time. It's you're not supposed to, if you go by the British government, travelling there is ill-advised, especially on the other side, the eastern side. No, the west side, is it? There's sort of like militants out there, militant organisations and gangs and that. So kidnapping is a problem. You can get into all kinds of problems if you don't know if you go into the wrong place. From everything I saw, I didn't see any kind of problem at all. Everything was fantastic. Although all these security guards and army people walking around, there obviously is something that you've got to be worried about. So, but Ken, do you see any trouble out there?
No, but last 2004, the rebels bombed the Double Effort. That's why most of military was they will put more militaries in any government, like airports. You remember those big rifles?
Yeah.
Just to frighten all those rebels that if ever they come over or make a mess, they will really shoot them. Because if the rebels bomb the government property, it's a huge, waste. It's like they need to rebuild again. It's gonna be a big damage, like billions. So they are carry on all this gun all the time to frighten the rebels.
I think a lot of this, I'm not sure about the politics of this, but some of the groups out there, like the Abu Sayyaf and groups like that, they believe that certain areas should belong to them.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, you experience 2 hours from here. There was a fight between Muslim and the another tribe is Ilongo, because this seems like fighting over the land. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice it.
No, I did told you. There was a news about it. That is 2 hours drive from here. Because the Muslim taking the land which belong to, I don't know which is, who is the owner really, but they are fighting over the land and they are like shooting each other.
Yeah, no, this is the trouble, isn't it? But the government are not going to allow them to have the land.
Yeah. They just squatter something like that.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to end up with chaos.
It's
But on a local scale, when you look at all the shops, most of the shops, they're security guards. Even like the supermarket. I mean, over here, we'd have a security guard at Tesco's, but they're not armed. Yet you can have armed guards over there in the shops. And
but the security guard over here and on the militaries they just wanted to protect from rebels or from those bad guys, not because they wanted to catch a thief in the supermarket. It's not because if there's a rebel enter the supermarket or any private buildings and bomb it, it's a big cost, right? It's millions. So they are protecting the property, not from the thief.
yeah, and these are private.
Private. Yeah. The supermarket we used to buy those groceries is one of the richest in Maramag. He owned a chopper. He owned a gasoline station. He owned the supermarket. He owned a piggery. He owned a sugarcane farm, I guess. Yeah, he got a lot of business.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting to see when you've got because over here in England you don't see it. You don't see anyone carrying guns, and it's like if you're a civilian, you can be a farm worker. But you can be someone who goes out every day and cuts down the sugarcane. You can walk down the street with a machete in your hand, and nobody about an eyelid. I've seen them. I've seen them walking down the street. Guys walking down the street with the machetes, even if they're not carrying them, they've got them in their holster, and that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's normal for the farmers, you know. That's very normal.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole point of this video was just to sort of like finish off my trip to the Philippines, which I've just had, because I'm not there now, so I can't really talk about. I've got a ton of video left of different clips of when we were out there, just stuff when we were driving mainly. I just wanted to finish off tonight, sort of like until we go back out there again, just to say, well, this is the last video, so it's best having a live stream to talk about it. But is the Philippines a good place to live? If you were to retire, and I guess most people who go to live in the Philippines, I'm kind of guessing, are people who are retiring. I think a lot of Americans probably
Mhm.
retire in the Philippines.
A lot of Americans.
But is it a good country to actually retire in is the question. And from what I've seen, I'm kind of thinking to myself, it is, if the big but is, one, you've got to have some kind of income, or unless you've got enough savings to live out the rest of your days in luxury, because when you live in the Philippines, your money is going to go a lot further. When I bang on about how cheap things are, like food, and if you're going out for a restaurant or something like that, it's a lot cheaper than what it is over here. I'm comparing to the price of food and everything over here. There's cost of living over here. That's what I compare it to. But if you're a Filipino that you just do a normal day job, your wage is going to be so much lower than what it is over here. So
Mhm.
it probably isn't that cheap compared to an ordinary Filipino. It's probably going to be quite expensive. When I spoke to that guy driving that motorcycle taxi,
Mm.
he said he earns enough in one day to feed himself for one day. And when you say about the security guards, they'll earn the equivalent of like £5 a day.
Mhm.
It may be a bit more, but it's not probably a great deal more than that. So
Mm.
they're not earning a fortune, the actual locals, unless you own a business and you're doing really well.
Mm.
Although there must be a lot of Filipinos that do earn quite a lot of money. There are a lot of good jobs out there, because when you look at the trucks and the pickups, there's no end of them, and most of them are Filipinos that are driving them. So there must be a lot of good jobs, and they've got good businesses going out there. When you see the amount of vehicles on the road that are all pretty new,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Toyota Hiluxes, Raptors, Rangers, all the SUVs, there's loads of them.
Ford Everest.
Mm. But if you're going out to the Philippines to live, number one, you've got to kind of like go out there like I've done and just have a look around, because number one, the weather is a big factor. If you can't handle the weather, the heat, then if you like the cold and you can't stand the heat, it's not a good place to be, because all year round, even in the cooler times, it's going to be silent, it's going to be muggy. And when you get that kind of over here, you get 4 seasons. You don't get that over there. You get 2 seasons, then you either get hot or rain.
Yeah.
So you can have a month where it rains constantly.
Mhm. June. You can
Yeah.
barely see the sun in June. Mostly all week gloomy, something like that. Rain.
The only plus side is that the rain's warm,
Mm-hmm.
so you can just stand outside and get a shower.
Yeah.
But no, if you go to the Philippines, you need an income, because despite the fact that it's cheap out there, not everything is cheap. There's a lot of things that aren't cheap. I don't
Mm.
think the price of fuel is exactly cheap. It's in some cases probably it might be even more expensive than it is over here, depending where you go per litre. But there's most of your general living expenses over there are cheap. But if you're not equipped and you don't know what you're doing, you could soon burn through all your money, and you'll find yourself skint.
Yeah.
So for me to have Ken, it's like a godsend, because if I was on my own, I wouldn't know what I was doing. I'd fall through so many pit holes, and you can't always communicate. Most people speak English out there. Some don't. Some are not very good at it at all. Most people.
But they can understand.
Yeah.
Maybe they can speak thoroughly, but they can understand.
Yeah. It's like if being out in your country for someone like me, if I never had you and I wanted to do something, I'd be stuck to how to do something. So you can navigate me of what we need to say, who we need to go to, because otherwise you're going to be in all signs of how do I
Just
get.
like Tyler, you remember? He asked me, can you pay for this? I said, why you didn't go and pay to the cashier? And I said, oh, the cashier's so weird. She cannot understand. She can understand what I'm saying. And then maybe because you're too slang. Your dad speak like a Filipino accent now.
Yeah. Enough makes life so much easier when you're there to actually sort the situation out, so you know what you're talking and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Even just navigating your way around can be horrendous. You know, just doing the simplest of tasks can be a problem if you don't know how to do it. So that's one of the things about being in a different country, not knowing how things work, but you do. So, but you do need to have a plan to be out there. So, I mean, I guess a lot of the Americans who go out there, they've got Social Security or they've got a pension. So they can go out there, they can go and rent a place, and then they can live that the rest of their days quite happily, because they know they've got money coming in each month from their pension or whatever, and they can budget, or they've got savings and stuff like that. So it's not. I wouldn't advise anybody to go out to your country that haven't got an income or a plan, because chances are it's not going to work. I mean, for you know, that's just life. As cheap as it is over where you are, you'll soon run out of money if you don't know what you're doing. So, but there again, in your case, you've got your little egg business going. So,
I started in the piggery.
You were doing well with pigs until the China virus kicked in.
Yeah.
That killed your pig business off.
I told you before COVID, I used to travel different part of Asia, right? But then when COVID started, it's like, oh my God. It's like, before COVID, money is just so easy. You can spend a few thousand just a day.
Yeah, you were living quite the life.
Mm-hmm.
And after COVID, I mean, everything's taken a downhill spiral.
But I'm not. It's like everyone suffered, so it's a tie. I'm not alone, right?
But I tell you what,
a lot of business closed because of this COVID shit, and it's like I'm still grateful.
a lot of people over in this part of the world would have hung themselves.
Yeah, it is. Even in Hong Kong, a lot of couples separate because of they argue about money, where to get the money, and then a lot of people do suicide. And then according to my friend over there, because I'm still speaking to them, it's like 6,000 people lost job. Like, the life over there is not nice as before. It's like they're struggling about daily needs, about their daily finances. So a lot of couples separated, and then some of my friends saying, "Can you get back to Hong Kong now?" A lot of single men. So funny.
They say that about Filipino people. You're so used to natural disasters, having your entire home and everything you own swept
Yeah.
away, and yet you can sit there and you can laugh about it and just get back on your feet and carry on.
Yeah, you know what? We Filipino have a free spirit. It's like we always feel the hope, There's a rainbow after the rain, something like that. It's like behind the storm, there's another storm. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. And over here, everyone's trying to hang on to what they got, and if you lose it, God only knows what you might do. Liam, hello. Just want to give a massive thanks for the Philippine series. My dad lives in Thailand. I've been to see him 3 times now since 2019. Southeast Asia, what a part of the world to visit. Yeah, brilliant. It's like, I've never been to Thailand, but I guess we will one day. I mean, we want to go to Hong Kong, don't we? And Malaysia and Indonesia, and there's so many places that want to go and see and visit. There's sort of like I think if you start traveling and start seeing the world, especially Southeast Asia, if you're a Westerner and you go to that part of the world, it's such a, I wouldn't say a culture shock, but I would say it is so different to what you know over here in the UK that you're just sort of like everywhere. You're just looking at everything and taking it all in, and it's just a big wow, really. It's interesting to see how people live, because you get so into the way you live over here that you don't realise that there is, England is just a tiny little spot on the map compared to the rest of the world. And England is not the rest of the world. There is a big world out there. And everything we know here, a lot of it is just out the window over there. It's just, it just goes to show where the roads are one prime example of how people can just drive the way they do with there's no road markings next. There's no junctions, there's no traffic lights hardly ever. Yet everybody just seems to get on with it. I would have thought there'd have been road rage. I mean, over here there'd been road rage, but over there, everyone just sort of like gets on.
I always remember it was like organized chaos.
Yeah, they just toot their horns, don't they? If they're coming up behind you, they just toot their horns to let you know they're coming.
Yeah. That's why I keep telling to Tyler every time he drive in the crossing area. I said, you have to slow down. You don't need to, because the other driver will get panic. If you slow down, they will not hit you. They will not bomb you. They will reduce the speed as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the traffic on the main road, the fast road, slows down and gives way to the traffic coming off the side roads.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly acceptable. And nobody gets angry. They all just know, didn't they? And they just flow.
Just give way to them. Like,
It just seems like despite the fact there's no technology, everything just seems to work. Everybody seems to get on. Did you miss fish and chips? And I mean like proper British fish and chips, not from the chicken. Yes, I did. I have to say, I mean, I am not a fan of the Filipino foods that I come across over there. I'm not used to it. I don't like the look of half of it, and I prefer the food I'm used to. So it will take me some time to actually get used to the Filipino food. But as it stands, at the minute, I would have loved the fish and chips. The food over there in your country, Ken, is just different. It's not the same as what we got over here. And
Yeah.
well, I don't know where
That's why the last 2 nights when we do the karaoke, I asked you to come over to my mom and have dined with them because I want you to experience like because that night you eat pizza, right? And then in my mom's house we eat barbecue and some other fish dish. And then I said, you have to try. I don't force you to eat more. At least you taste differently from the one you used to eat.
the biggest thing to take away is the food you're eating over in the Philippines. Chances are is fresh. It's not been injected with 1,000 chemicals, and it is different though. It's more of a challenge to eat it. It's more chewy. If you, everything you eat, pork, chicken, it's more chewy than what it is over here.
Yeah.
And it's you've got to navigate your way through the bones. If you get a chicken drumstick, it's going to be less meat, but the chickens aren't as fat as what they are over here because they're all free range running around.
Yeah. More.
What is the time? Flipping it, we've been going nearly 2 hours. The UK does not feed animals hormones. I think they blow the chickens up with something though. They make them bigger. I think they
That is growth hormones to increase the size. It's
I know
a
the chickens are full of water or something. They've got more water in them, but they're not. Because if you get a chicken breast over here, there's a lot more meat on the chickens over here than what you've got. The chickens over where you are, they're thinner.
Because native chicken, I mean, it's native chicken.
UK chicken is vile and tasteless. I did notice. I mean, the chicken I did taste, the meat I was actually able to get off the bone, it was quite tasty. But that was a fresh chicken that had been killed. I didn't kill the chicken, by the way. I don't think I could do that. You have to get your brother-in-law to actually kill the chicken.
Because I can kill a chicken, I can do it myself. But just because I used to feed them, I might cry. I feel pity to my pets, my babies.
Well, that's it. You've got all these chickens running around. You kind of feel for them. It's like Max, the cockerel, that wakes me up every morning. I mean, I couldn't hurt that cockerel. I love that cockerel. Toyota Hilux are nice. Them Toyota Hiluxes, they do look pretty tasty, that's for sure. And a lot of the Hiluxes were pretty meaty looking vehicles. And of course, we're driving and they come flying past us. I don't know what speed you're doing, but flipping it, there's like some of the drivers out there, they must know the roads really well because they just come shooting past us. And then a lot of the roads are sort of like bendy and curvy and mountainous roads. Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Wirral. Hello. When you're hoping to get back out there with girlfriend, nice to see her live with you. Looks like you got sun got over.
Hello, Sir Stephen.
Yeah, do you know, I loved it out there. I absolutely loved it. Every day, the weather never changed. It was the same every day. You just get up. You get up out of bed. I mean, on the actual bed, there was no duvet or nothing like that. You only have one thin sheet, and you probably don't even. The only time I put the sheet over me or you was when like 4 or 5 in the morning. The rest of the night you just sleep on the bed with no sheet on you at all. You just have the electric fan going on the oscillating sort of thing, just blow some air over you to take the stuffiness away just a little bit. However, on the nights that you did have the air conditioning on, we had to shut all the windows and put the aircon on. It brought the whole house down to a kind of a nice temperature. But the moment you turn the air conditioning off, even if like it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it's like it gets a bit stuffy because it's the humidity out there. That's what I mean. If you don't like the heat or humidity, you're going to hate it because it can get a bit much when it's constant, isn't it? Especially in April time, it's day and night. It doesn't mess up. Even after a heavy thunderstorm, it absolutely chucks it down with rain. It's still muggy.
You get up sweaty.
You just want to shove your head in the refrigerator and cool down. It's like that MGG resort with a cold swimming pool. You jump in that cold water, and the moment you get out, it's like the sun. And if you ever notice the sun over here is kind of like over there. If the sun where you are is right above your head, half the time you look up, where's the sun? It's right above me, and it's beaming straight down on you. And you'll see a lot of the locals. They're walking around with umbrellas or some kind of coat above their head because it's so hot.
Because our sun rises in the east and then sunset in the west. Over there is like almost just the same, suns up and down. Is it?
Well, we don't have the sun directly above us over here, and it's not that hot. That's what I mean. You've got to put the sunscreen on or have something. That's why so many people walk around with umbrellas. So because you'll just burn your head. I mean, so I like to be careful. So I've got a bald head. YouTube seemed to be clamping down on events in 2019, and the words with the virus. Does this include StreamYard? Nightbot watching us? Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, that's been going on for a long time. They've been censoring. You remember when coronavirus first started? You weren't supposed to talk about it, were you? So, especially in places like Facebook, they'd shut you down if you said anything bad about coronavirus or the vaccines or anything like that. The tax is for Filipinos.
What, the travel tax? No, not just for Filipino, as well as in, if you do the international flight, you have to pay around 800 peso. If that's international flight, but local flight, some airport collect 200 pesos, some don't.
Yeah.
Because they will add to their revenue, income.
But you see, each part of the Philippines, they run by mayors, governors.
Yeah, mayors.
They can impose their own laws on what they want to do.
That's why sometimes I am complaining that to some of the politicians. I'm saying, I only experience here in the Philippines that you need to pay for the travel tax. I've been to different airport all over Asia, and no one asked me to pay this. I just hand my ticket and passport, and that's it. And then they said that travel tax is just to for improvement, renovation, whatever. I said, nah, part of corruption, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't know about the airport tax, but I mean the COVID, antigen tests that they're still trying, because before, when COVID was still a thing, your country was one of the last countries on the planet that they were still
Yeah,
keeping
yeah.
everyone locked down,
Mm-hmm.
and they would fine people if you went out. They had curfews as well. After such and such a time at night, you
10.
weren't allowed to go out on the streets or go anywhere, or
Mm.
they'd catch you and fine you.
Mm.
And if you wanted to go, say you wanted to go from one area to another, you may have to take an antigen test to do that. I
Mm.
guess it's like from one state to another,
Mm.
one part of the country to another. And if you had to take an antigen test, you'd have to pay God knows how much to take that test to get across. Then you'd have to take another test to come back to your house again. So they were making, the government, all these mayors or governors were making an awful lot of money
Mm-hmm.
just through testing people to travel from one place to another.
You remember when we supposed to buy a ticket for the ferry going to Bohol, and I asked that woman if we need a vaccine card or whatever, and they said no, you don't need anything. Just buy a ticket and that's it, and an ID. So you can see that Bohol is very open to tourists now, which is in Camigan. You need to have this vaccine card, antigen test, etc. It's like the mayor still carry on this COVID business.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then in the Philippines, the first province to open up for the world is the Cebu.
Cebu City, which is a bit further up north. That's I think that's where all the Americans go.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, that's where they all tend to live.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a place to visit sometime or other. If you travel Filipino passport, you have to pay tax.
No, it's for all. If you travel international, you have the international flight. You have to pay, even you are Filipino or you are foreigner.
Well, yeah, I had to. I mean, I
Mm.
obviously had to pay it. So you're going to have to adapt your food taste and find out that fresh is best than our English.
Exactly, Mondo. Because when I was in China, most of the food over there, they just steam it and then put some soy sauce a bit, and then some spice like spring onion, shallots, and garlic, something like that. And that's so simple. They don't put more spices like Indian does, because Indians have 7 spices all the time every time they cook. But in China, they wanted the simple one, like steamed fish, steamed chicken. The one I show you. Just simple as that. They don't like so many spices. So when I learned to eat that way, then I adapt their how they cook their food, and then I love it. Eventually, you can learn it, Henry. Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to. I have to take a piss quick, and I'm
Okay.
going to run through a few comments. Then we'll have to call it a night because
Sure.
it's gone over 2 hours now. So at least if you have Manila Airport, there Filipinos pay tax.
If you have international flight, you have to pay. Happy, you need help?
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely I would say it's a slower pace of life out there. Don't expect to get anything done in a hurry.
That's why we are so like we have a lot of patience. Patience is virtue, right?
Well, yeah, whatever you're doing, as I've noticed,
Yeah.
it's not just bang bang bang, it's done. It's you're going to have to wait for everything.
Oh,
Just like when we bought the electric fan,
yeah.
it was about 45 minutes it took while you have to wait for them to unpack the fan from the box,
Check.
check everything works, plug it in, put it all
Mm.
back in the box, then
Mhm.
write your receipt out, then the guy's got to check it at the door, then someone's got to sign it off as well, and it's like flipping heck.
Because if ever that item lost, they need to pay for that fan, you know? That's why they're checking the right number of the fan on
I
the
know.
box and also in the receipt. That's the purpose of it. Because they will pay for it if that fan is lost. They will always have inventory every month for those items they're selling.
But over here, if you buy something, it'll come in a sealed box.
Mm.
You take it home. If there's something wrong, you'll just take it back with the receipt and they'll exchange it.
Oh.
Obviously, it's different where you are. they
Mhm.
take it all apart and look at it part by
Mhm.
part, piece by piece.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's wherever you want to go in the world. I mean, the Philippines is no exception. It's you've definitely got to sort of like spend some time out there. I mean, I've been out there for like 3 weeks, and
Mm.
it's been a hell of an experience. I do like it out there. I think it's fantastic, but it's only 3 weeks, so
You remember when the first day with Tyler in here, he said, "Dad, I wanna go back England." And then after he started learning all the stuff, and then he said, "Oh, I don't wanna go home. Why is it so fast?"
time does seem to fly when you're having fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see, Alan. What's your thoughts on V Power fuel? It's probably better quality. It
Mm,
costs more, so
yeah.
chances are it will. It's worth giving it a try because you might find that you get better fuel consumption and better performance. It just costs more. That's the mental thing you'll get past. You're paying more for it. But if you give it, if you give it, put your hand in your pocket and you pay for it, then see what you think. You might be surprised. One thing about Ken, she wears her heart on her sleeve and not holding back with the truth and opinions. You know, she does say it how it is, don't you?
Mm. I am a very bad person. It's like I open up what I feel and what is in my head. It's like I don't hold words with, you know.
You're also
Sometimes it's not a nice behavior. Is that happy? Because sometimes I'm too blunt and then become like offended, offended words, something like that.
well. There's a lot of people in the West, especially on the left, get offended very quickly.
Oh,
You were so short time you couldn't see proper problem for foreigner. Finding and paying decent healthcare is impossible. Well, yeah, the healthcare in your country is a whole new ball game, really, isn't it?
yeah.
There again, I'll point this out. The last time I walked into accident and emergency in this country, which was Hinchinbrook Hospital, my son had hit his teeth and he was pouring with blood from his mouth. And all the stupid cow in the accident emergency could say was, "Can you put a mask on?" And I'm thinking, and no, it was do you have any COVID symptoms? And I thought, you've got to be fucking shitting me. He needs attention to his teeth and his mouth, not to put a fucking mask on. And at that point, I thought, come on, let's just get out of here. You know, I've lost. You know,
Temper.
well, not temper. It's the whole system, everything. All they seem to be caring about is COVID this, COVID that. You know, the big lie. They're all going along with it. You know, rather than giving him medical, we paid our taxes for medical treatment, and all we get is bullshit. Does he show any COVID symptoms? What if he does? Who cares? He needs his bleeding stopping. You know, they don't care. The world's gone fucking mad since this COVID crap. So I've lost interest in the healthcare over here as well. Over there in your country, you've got to pay for it. But there was this thing that we saw. I pointed out to you when we were heading towards Davao City. It said that there was a big sign up across one of them bridges, and I said, "What's that sign say?" And you said to me, "If you're riding a motorcycle and you have an accident, if you're wearing a crash helmet, you'll get free healthcare. If you're not wearing a crash helmet, you won't get no free healthcare. You'll have to pay for it." So they're giving you an incentive to wear a crash helmet, but they're also saying it's up to you what you do. So
Exactly.
you've got the choice, haven't you?
That's it.
Like, you know, whether it's right or wrong, whether you wear a crash helmet or not, you've got the option.
That's it.
But yeah, I don't know what healthcare over there is like. I know that PhilHealth, you have to pay for it, and healthcare, if you haven't got no healthcare, it's going to be expensive. But it's the same as America, isn't it? America's apparently got the most expensive healthcare system in the world. If you don't have healthcare in America and you break your arm, you may as well just walk around with a broken arm, because unless you've got like $15,000 to spend to fix your arm. So the one thing about Britain is that they do, well, they have had, I don't know how good it is now, but they have had one of the best free healthcare systems in the world. I think since COVID, it hasn't been so great. There's a lot of people that have suffered over here now because of this COVID crap. A lot of people have died through cancer and other things because they haven't been able to get healthcare because they were too worried about COVID. So, but before COVID, the healthcare system over here was pretty good, and it was free for everyone. Healthcare in Philippines really expensive. You get yes, you'd have to certainly pay for it. So that's just brings the point. Do your best to stay healthy if you can. But once again, that's another good point actually. If you've got health issues and you are living in another country and you want to go and live in the Philippines, probably not a good idea. They have some fantastic hospitals in the Philippines and some very good doctors and medical care. But once again, you're going to have to pay for it. So if you do have health issues, you really want to think twice about leaving your home country.
You can pay for the insurance, Habi. Like just like last time I applied for dengue. You pay around, I don't know, I forgot, and then you have this 30,000. If you admit it as a dengue patient, you get 30,000 from that insurance company, something like that, or they will pay the hospital bill.
Yeah, I'm talking about if you're a foreigner and you're living in whatever country you live in, say you're living in a European country and you've got heart problems or kidney problems, or you've got some kind of problem and you go and live in the Philippines, you might not be able to get the health care that you need in the Philippines. You may well, because no doubt you've got some, but then again, if in your country, you may have to travel to a certain hospital that may be a long way from where you are to get that health care, and it's going to certainly cost you if you haven't taken up that full health care.
Yeah, it is.
So if you've got health issues to start with before you even move to the Philippines, it might not be a good idea to actually leave your home country. When you come over to your country, you really need to be in a good state of health. So that's one thing to be thinking about. There's Steve with a timestamp.
Yeah.
An hour behind. Hi Poland. Hello, Daro. It's from Poland.
Hi. Polish, is it? Polish people.
Jarno from Finland. He's Finland. Okay.
Finland. Okay. Finland.
That is one country you would not want to go to.
It's icy, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the safest countries in the world to be in.
I don't like that.
It's freezing. So unless you like building snowmen or you like the cold, it wouldn't be good for you. Not after the temperature you've been living in.
I experienced 6 degrees in China, and I said, "Oh my God, I want to go home." 6 degrees worse for me. And then how about in an icy place? Oh my, nah.
Yeah, the snow and ice is nice. It's good fun, but if it's like that all the time, you're gonna sort of like you're gonna have to be wrapped up well. The people who live in Finland are kind of used to it, so there's nothing to them.
Yeah, no mosquito over there.
No. Stephen Birds, Tony Blair, very bad man. The funny thing is that people like Tony Blair, they don't even realise what they've done. They just carry on spouting more crap off. That Tony Blair should have been locked up for what he's done. Him and Bush, they fought. They were the ones who instigated the war in Iraq. All based on weapons of mass destruction that Saddam Hussein didn't have. They were just pair of war pigs. They caused the death and suffering of fucking tens of thousands of people. Yet they'll never be held accountable. So, anyway, that's going into politics. But Tony Blair was the English Prime Minister for a time over here. He's the one who wanted open borders and let the whole world into Britain. Britain can't take the whole world.
Yeah.
But the whole of Africa and the Middle East will keep coming here as long as they keep giving them free shit. And
your country will sink.
Yeah, it's all very well people coming here, but the trouble is they're letting them in illegally. If they come here legally, there shouldn't be a problem. It's fine. Like anybody else in the world wants to come here. Or if I want to go to your country, I'd be pretty pissed off if your country denied me access, saying, "Well, we don't want foreigners over here, so fuck off."
Mm.
But the problem is when you get tens of thousands of people coming into your country immediately and they're not documented, then it becomes a bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just what's happening over here. They're coming over in rubber dinghies from France, which is a safe country, but they don't want to stay in France because they're not getting handouts in France. They come over here, they'll get paid, they'll get put up in hotels and paid money and given a phone and God knows what. It's all a load of bollocks. I reckon it's all planned. Can you easily find work and adapt to fixing vehicles to a different standard? Get it working again rather than... Well, there is no MOT standards in the Philippines that I've seen. There's just about anything on the road, as long as it goes, is all that matters. I guess they do have... I think they do have an inspection in your country on vehicles.
Yeah. Emission test every year.
Emission tests. Well, there you go.
Uh,
You can have 4 bold tyres, none of the lights will work, and God only knows. But as long as it has an emission test to keep the Greens happy.
but if ever you come over to stay, I don't want you to walk.
No, I wouldn't be coming over to your to work anyway. I'd be, from what I've seen, some of the garages that I've passed, the ramps are medieval. They don't look very nice places. I've passed some vehicle maintenance places, and from what I've seen, I wouldn't want to work there. No, I think a lot of the jobs, the vehicles that get repaired in your country they're just keeping them going. I think if things like your ABS light was to come on, it would be, so what? Just leave it on. Who cares? It's just they may just have their oil changes and services done, stuff like that. It depends who you are really, or where you take it.
Yeah. But if you wanted to fix it properly, then you have to bring it to the big, like we call it a casa. Like if ever you have Toyota, you have to bring it to the Toyota dealer, and then they will fix it. But you cost a lot. That's the
yeah. There are some huge Toyota dealers near where you live. Massive, great big, big flashy showrooms. Toyota's a big one in the Philippines. But I think for the majority of people who own a vehicle, unless you've got a lot of money, it's just a case of keep your vehicle running. I've seen so many vehicles, even lorries, with totally bold tyres, and they just run around like that. They just keep them going until they have to do something to them. So... Yeah, there is no. I know there is a check on vehicles, but it's very minimal. It's probably just a light check and maybe a tyre check. Apart from that, just carry on. Brits won't admit, but was Brexit good for average person who living and working in UK? Do you know what? I wish I'd. You know what? It's like it's. I think it's the better of two evils. I think if Brexit would be fine, the trouble is you've got too many people who want in kind of power in Europe, in Brussels, that want Britain to stay as part of the EU. It's just causing so much conflict. I believe Britain should stand by itself as an independent sovereign country. It can still be part of Europe. They can still integrate and still deal and do all their business and whatever they were doing before without any problems. The way I see Europe and the EU is that they wanted to make all the European countries into zones. They want to do away with all the independent countries and make them all as one, so they can control them all by one centralized power, and which would mean that all the individual countries of Europe would lose their identities and their currencies and everything else. And I don't see that as a good thing, because that's what used to make the world interesting. All these independent countries have their own cultures, their own identities, and if you all make it into one big entity, it's all gone. It's gone forever. So I think they should break the EU up more than anything. They should do away with all these bureaucrats in the European Union and have all the little countries in Europe govern themselves. And if you get married, you can get 13R visa, which full residence visa allows for businesses, etc. You can have their good Ford business. The only thing is, I never saw any Ford cars over there. But yeah, I know that once you go to the Philippines, you can get a visa, and if you get married, then it makes things a lot easier. You can get you can stay over there then. If you're not married, you probably get a certain time limit. Then you've got to leave, or you've got to keep extending your visa. So the Philippines is a classic example of one country that does not like immigration. They don't like people living in their country that are foreigners. And when it comes, it's also like you cannot buy a house in the Philippines. You cannot own property unless it's, if you're married to a Filipina, it will go in the Filipina's name. So if you're a foreigner, you can't just rack up in the Philippines and say, I'd like to buy a house. You can't do that. You're not allowed. You can lease a place for 100 years. Not that you're going to live that long, but you can't buy unless there's any certain laws to get around that. Maybe the Chinese would know, if anybody. And it's like you can't just go over there and start working. You have to be over there for a certain amount of time and this, that, and the other. There's a lot of legalities, but it's certainly not a country where you can just go over there and, if there was dinghies full of people like coming over the channel into England, going over to the Philippines, they'd shoot them. They wouldn't allow them in. They'd take a gunboat out in the water and bloody shoot them. Howdy, Ken. Is it morning there?
Yeah, it's morning. It's 5:32 at the moment.
5:32, and over here it's 10:30.
Yeah, it's morning now.
Skull 5. Will Ken be coming over to the UK? I can answer that for you.
No.
Why the hell would you want to come over here? I tell you, if you went back into like the 1970s or 80s or even the 90s, it'd be good to come over here, go and see London. It'd be very interesting.
London Bridge is falling down.
It may as well be falling down.
Yeah. Is London Bridge falling down?
Chris, Alan just come home from shopping. Didn't get any notifications that you were going live. I didn't put it out today. I didn't. I normally put a live stream out like a day before, but I only put it out sort of like a few hours back. So you probably missed it anyway. Wayne, is she a keeper? That means you're not going to let her go.
What do you think?
Well, I haven't let you go, have I?
I'm telling you, I told you already before, right? My first boyfriend when I was in Hong Kong, when I was 25 years old, is an Englishman from Stockton-on-Tees. and we are 7 years in a long distance relationship. And then I meet the Chinese guy after we lost connection, and then after 3 years I meet the Chinese guy, and he's my boyfriend 5 years, and also because we still miss each other, so it seems like a long distance as well for 5 years. Then after we broke up 7 years ago, I meet Alan.
Well, we've been doing all right for 18 months.
Yeah. Seems like the days pass so quick.
Oh, they do. They certainly do. Yeah. But we made the first hurdle. We've been out there.
Mm.
So we just got stuff to sort out here and see how we go. So that'll all be coming out in the future. David. Hi, Alan and Ken. Alan, when working on Mondeo Mark V cam belt, do you have to camshaft position sensor relearn? No. When you change a cam belt on a Mark V Mondeo, you just pin up the crankshaft and you pin up the camshaft. That's it. You put the new belt on, as long as the camshaft and crankshaft are timed up with your pins, you haven't got to relearn any sensors at all. Not at all. No. No. Toyota Hilux are indestructible as proved by Top Gear. Yeah. The Hiluxes that we see out there in the Philippines, they look pretty mean, meaty pickups. They look good. They're not as good as a Raptor. I like the Raptor, the Ford Raptor better.
Me too.
But the Hilux is a very close second. Even the Ford Rangers look nice. But yeah, I don't know. The Hiluxes are nice. Do they have turkeys over there? Do you know? I don't know.
Have Abby. You see, my auntie have turkeys, right? The house next to the fence. So we newly built the new house for the ducks, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Near to the stream, there's a house over there. They have turkeys.
Yeah,
you didn't notice, I guess.
Yeah. I don't mind a bit of turkey, but you need a bit of gravy because it's got dry meat, isn't it? It's not as succulent as chicken.
Yeah.
Hope all well. Yes, it's excellent. Thank you, Plum. George. Hi, Alan Ken. Could you not go to Philippines and work? You probably could after a certain period of time if you wanted to start up a little business. But as you pointed out, you can have a business over in the Philippines. Say you're selling something by the side of the road. If you're not earning a certain amount of money, then you haven't got to pay tax. It's only when you earn a certain threshold you've got to start paying the government tax. So there's a lot of people out there. If I go out on, say you go out of an evening time, all night long, any night, 7 days a week, there would be people by the side of the road 24 hours a day selling food. I mean, a lot of the food places, they're not proper like food places that have got certificates for food hygiene and all that. But you can go and buy pieces of chicken and stuff like that any time of day or night, and they're not paying tax to the government. Yeah, if you go and have a proper restaurant in the Philippines and you build your own little restaurant, you've got to get all your food certificates and everything, because you're probably earning a certain threshold above what you're allowed to earn. So you've got to be careful what you're buying as well, because a lot of these little food places, they don't know what kind of quality the food is going to be.
Mm.
So, but yeah, you can after, I think if you go out to the Philippines, you can work. Obviously, after you've been there for a little while, you can get, if you wanted to start a restaurant or something, you can obviously do that. You'd have to jump through all the relevant hoops and all that to sort of like get it up and running. But yeah, I think a lot of people out there, there's the Turkish restaurants, isn't there? Indian restaurants.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If eventually I'm able to retire, then I want it to be close to the beach on the south coast. It's always nice to be by the sea. As long as there's no typhoons about. John. Hello, Alan. How are you? Very good. Thank you very much, John. Alan, exit tax to get out of a country is included when you pay for the visa.
No.
I don't know.
No.
It's all gobbledygook.
No, the one you paid for the tax, you saying maybe the travel tax include to the visa, but this one, the 800 peso you paid in Davao when you exit from Philippines is terminal fee. They call it terminal fee, not a tax really. Terminal fee is like you paid only not in the Philippine government but in the city. It only collect for the city treasurer office, not in the whole national treasury.
Yeah.
You pay already the tax, including your ticket, Habi, the travel tax. But this one is called terminal fee.
Yeah, it seems a bit odd because it's like it's not something that's the information is readily available to you.
Yeah.
If this guy hadn't messaged me on one of my videos and said you have to pay this tax,
Andrew, I guess.
not have known. I would have gone to the airport in Davao, expecting to get on the plane, and then someone would have said, "What you need to pay this?" And I would have said, "Well, how can I pay it? I have no money. I don't have no pesos on me. I'd be stuffed, wouldn't I? I wouldn't be able to get out of the country until I found myself."
Maybe you will argue with her. Like, I already paid the tax. Why should I pay? Something like that.
Well, most plane fares, all your taxes are included in the plane fare.
Yeah, that's it. That is travel tax. But this one is.
You're supposed to say, but only in the Philippines.
Ha.
I hear Sudan is a nice place for a holiday destination at the moment. It's all right, if you haven't heard the news, they're falling into civil. There's two warlords, government and another warlord, are fighting each other. Two armies fighting each other. The country's going to hell. All right, forget it. John, Alan, why meat become chewy is because of cutting meat. If you cut meat wrong way, it's turned chewy. Animal body cutting is art. Here in Finland,
Yeah, that's it.
that kind of profession you need. Yeah. Well, that's something I know zero about. Cutting animals up is not my thing. Yes, I can understand that. Maybe Steve Berry right about tax. When I have a flight out Manila, I haven't paid tax, but my Philippine wife has paid tax. Maybe it's a visa. Also, different airport maybe have different ways. My knowledge, Manila.
Yeah.
The trouble is, wherever you go, you've got to be sort of like, you've got to know all these little things, haven't you? And you might not be told them. So it's worth doing some like internet checks, even if like, what do I need to leave a certain country or enter a certain country? It's because if you don't have all your facts about you, you can find yourself in problems quite quickly, and it could ruin your whole day quite easily.
Mm-hmm.
John, I still see people wearing masks driving their cars. You're not going to wear a seatbelt walking around the town, are you? Yeah, but
Idiot on the road.
well, in your country, the amount of people walking around wearing masks. Do you know what?
Ah,
I saw this pair at that resort, that
ah,
little resort, right, a year resort, right on top of the
ah,
mountain. Okay, there was a boyfriend and girlfriend, and they were both wearing masks, and they're
mm,
walking around the resort, and I watched them. Okay, and then they come to that big bloody Tyrannosaurus Rex that was sort of like mechanical thing,
mm,
and they were taking their selfies. So they stood there, took their masks off, took
mm.
selfies of each other, then they put their masks back on. And I thought,
Yeah. Some people just, acting they are so hygienic, right? Mm.
I know, but it's like, haven't they got the memo? The China virus
Mm.
is over. Wait
Yeah.
for something else to come out.
No, the virus stick in their head.
It's like bloody Nora.
Mm.
Them selling health insurance around year valid. Was it AXA company name? But there is one. Those may be $1,000 dollars or euros year or similar. Yeah.
Yeah, AXA. AXA is a big insurance company.
I hope I never have to worry about health insurance.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one day I'll just croak it and that'll be the end of it.
Uh,
I don't like hospitals.
yeah, stop worrying, Abby.
Yeah, I'm not worrying. That's why I don't get ill. I haven't. I'm getting older, but I feel okay.
But I keep telling you, spare sweet stuff. Sweets is not good.
Yeah, I know. It's just that at a certain point in your life, you kind of like get a liking for chocolate.
No.
Anyway, I must say, since I've been over your country, we haven't really eaten much in the way of chocolate. They do sell chocolate bars where you are, but it's not kind of like the same as what you have over here.
Mm.
There's less of it.
Mm.
You kind of eat different stuff, like balut. And there's one fruit I didn't actually eat and put it on video, which I thought actually was quite nice, and that was that jackfruit.
Ah, yeah, jackfruit. Yeah, jackfruit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
was
very
right.
local. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fruits in your country that are they're not the kind of things you would see over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to try them. That's the thing. You have to try them. I'm not
Mm.
cute. I'm not keen on the durian, but the jackfruit was quite nice.
Mm.
Craig, really enjoyed the videos lately. Yeah, nice to see a different way of living. Well done, Craig. Thank you, Craig.
Scotland.
Yeah, I'll just waving the camera around,
Yeah.
because I sort of like you've got to sort of like get some. I don't. Do you know what? The one thing I don't do anymore, I don't take photographs. I just hardly ever take a photo. I will always just take video now. I just find it's so much more interesting, especially when you're over in a country where everything is totally different to what you're used to. I recommend that Ken comes here one summer for a few weeks to take a look at our roads and supermarkets.
Our supermarket over here doesn't have flies.
Doesn't have what?
Flies, the wet market. Have you seen flies in there? When we check the fish and all those, we buy shrimp, right?
Do you know what? I will say, over here, at the end of my gate, I've got the bin out, the Huntingdonshire District Council rubbish bin, and you always get blue bottles and green bottles and flies. They come in and they if I leave the door open, they'll come in and they'll buzz around the house and then out again.
Mm.
When I was out there, I never saw any of them flies. There was tiny little flies, but very few and far between that I saw. Flies just didn't seem to be a problem.
Mm.
So I will say, you know, like you see in markets where you get meat and you get all flies landing on them. I didn't see that. So maybe wherever, well, for some reason there just wasn't any flies around. Maybe they're out in the fields or somewhere.
Mm. Yeah.
The
Maramag is the cleanest market in the Philippines. As they get award last around 2016 or 2018. One of the cleanest market in the Philippines.
Yeah, it was pretty clean there. The one thing that you can't avoid wherever you are is ants.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not
not
really a bother. They're,
Mhm.
they're tiny little ants, aren't they? But there's millions of them everywhere you go. There's ants because it's so hot. They on your house. They climb all along the wall. They find a way into your house and come down the side of the wall. And if you spray them, you know you'll kill a load of them. But I mean, after so
They keep
long,
coming.
leave them alone, didn't you? You just learn to live with them.
Yeah, sometimes I do spray them. Sometimes I just ignore it.
Yeah, they don't. They're not the kind of ants that bite you, are they? They're harmless.
No,
Although
no.
there are ants that you said that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, those red ants. But this one, the black one, is like they used to stay in fruit trees. Maybe because you eat chocolate and then they come out and climb in the ground. You can smell the sweets.
A big soils. As that Clive stream has just crashed. Oh, I don't know whether does he use StreamYard or does he just use the YouTube streaming software?
Oh.
There is MOT and Euro 4 emission test, but you can pay test a man all and get clear papers.
That's it. If you are in hurry, you just I used to do is like call the guy who do the emission test. I said, I'm going there. Can what time you're free or something like that? And then I said, okay, come over around 10 in the morning and then I would just hand my documents to him and then let him do the checking and that's it. And then I will say, I will get back in the afternoon to get the new certification of you renew the I don't know, like a road license, something like that. So if you have someone over there, they can do it like because if you go there straight away, you have to queue up, right? Because a lot of people wanted to have the emission test, but if you have someone, I will go there and then you will just get and then do it. But you have to pay extra for like give a tip, so you will be like a VIP.
It's a bribe.
Yeah, VIP. You have to pay.
No,
Yeah.
they're very over here. They are really, really serious about MOT tests. That everything is done just right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go over there, and it's like, what MOT test? You know, when you've got lorries, okay, when you've got the wheels sticking out that far from the wheel arches, you've got juggernauts going down the road that half the lights don't work on, and they're in such terrible state. We were behind the lorry, and the wheel was going like that.
Yeah, shaking, right?
And it's like, I don't think these vehicles even ever get looked at. I really don't. They just keep them going. I mean, I dread to think if a wheel was to fall off one of these lorries and it was to kill somebody, God only knows what kind of trouble you'd be in if you were that lorry driver. I mean,
you don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I should think the penalties are pretty bad if you cause an accident. But it's a case of you look after your vehicle and make sure you don't cause an accident. Because if you do, you'll be in trouble. I bet it's just something like that. Anyway, we're getting to the end of the comments. We have to call them.
Yeah. All right.
Least in big city there is MOTs. Yeah,
Every town have MOT.
we're in rural parts, so there wasn't much sort of like legalities going on. Terminal fee different. Not all airport have terminal fee. Philippines pay travel tax when leave country. Manila airport no terminal fee. Terminal fee cover building cost of terminal.
So maybe I don't know, because the time I went to Malaysia, I paid the terminal fee as well. Maybe this time, if the airport is totally furnished or whatever, they don't need much that, renovation or repair, so they don't collect terminal fee. But in how to say that, rural area, like not really, how to say that. Manila is a lot of fans over there, so it's okay to not to collect
Yeah. The only
for
point
them.
I'll
Maybe they
get
have
across is that you're not told this. You're not told there's a terminal fee. I didn't know. I looked at all the small print on my when I booked my flights. And there was nothing to say. I mean, there was plenty about travel restrictions, like you need to take an antigen test and all that to enter the country.
Yeah,
But there was
that's all.
nothing about
Yeah.
exiting the country.
Mm.
So the only reason I knew about this terminal fee was that some guy messaged me and said there's a fee you have to pay.
Yeah, he's a UK guy. But when I was in Cebu, I use Cebu as international flight to Hong Kong. I pay 800 as well. Maybe in Manila they don't collect it, but I remember Cebu and Davao, you need to pay for the terminal fee.
Cebu and Davao, if fly pit of country need to pay terminal fee. As long as I understand, terminal fees meant cover building.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Manila doesn't need it because they have a lot of funds to repair the building or the maintenance of the airport, I guess. Because they have a huge income.
In the Davao airport, when we were queuing up to check our baggage in, oh my God, it was like there was no organisation, next to nothing. It took ages to, they got to take your suitcases and put the signs on them and put them on the escalator, and your checked in baggage and that, not your hand baggage. I mean, it's like the queue in front of us didn't seem to be moving. It took us absolute ages to get anywhere. It was like the queues were all over the place, so no one knew what queue they were in. It was a very sort of like higgledy-piggledy bit of a mess, if you know what I mean, for what is supposed to be an international airport. So, but yeah.
You can use your feedback, for your comments, suggestion, whatever. They have a feedback box over there inside. You can write it down.
That's right. It's just all an experience. Everything's an experience. So that's all I put it down to. It's no right or wrong, or was it good or bad. It doesn't really matter. It's just I was out there. I'm just sort of like noticing different things. You get to places like that Changi Airport, and everything is just bang on organised.
Changi is very new. It's a new one. It's top airport in the world.
Even let me bring this out. Let's talk about public conveniences, toilets. In Changi Airport, the toilets there, because this is a big thing. When you get off an airplane, you want to go for a piss or a shit. But when you go into Changi Airport, the toilets there are like state of the art. They're like the best toilets you could ever go in. It's like fantastic. Yeah,
Mm.
getting to the Philippines, if you're in
Mm.
a main, well, if you're in the airport at the Philippines, the toilets are fine. But you get out into the Philippines somewhere, into like, I don't know. We went to a resort, and this was typical of anywhere we went. If you went to a public convenience,
You have to bring your own toilet paper.
exactly. There's no toilet paper to start with. So what you'll probably find is a toilet without a toilet seat, and it won't flush either. There'll probably be a toilet, and then there'll be a big bucket of water in front of you with a pot in it. So you'll have to splash the water up your arse if you want to wash your arse. Then you have to use the water out of the bucket in the pot to pour down the toilet to flush it. That's probably as best as you're going to get out there. So just be warned that if you're worried, you'd best bring your own paper with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of them things that once you've sort of like witnessed that and realised how it is out there, then you kind of like the next time you know how to prepare yourself. So it's just the way it is. You get used to it. Cousins, hello. Hi from Glencoe in Scotland.
Scotland.
Scotland is like mountainous. There's mountains in Scotland, a bit like where you are.
Ah, okay. So they must have a lot of cows.
They probably have.
Mm.
I reckon Ken would be homesick in 20 minutes from touchdown in UK. Well, I'll tell you something. The moment I got off the plane back here, I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to be here. It was raining, it was cold, it was horrible. And I thought, I just want to go back. No, I don't think you'd like it here either.
Mm.
You'd be bored out your head. There's nothing going on. It's just like when I say I wake up here in the morning, it's silence. Yet where you are, there's all these noises going around you, all these animals and insects and God knows what. There's so much going on.
Mm.
Obviously, if you're the kind of person that likes it dead silent and no noises, then the Philippines definitely isn't for you, because there's cockerels and hens and chickens everywhere you go.
Screaming.
Yeah, you love your cockerels and chickens.
Um,
They're roaming around all over the place. So be prepared to be woken up God knows how many times a day.
mm-hmm.
But you just don't get that over here. You don't have chickens running around. I've been flicking to Big Clive channel tonight. Had a spooky moment about his dreams. I bet the driving test in the Philippines is easy. It probably is. It's probably, can you drive down to the end of that street? What is your driving test like?
You have the officer from the LTO. The officer will see if you can, how you cross the road or how you backing, parking, reverse, and that's it. And they will bring you to the heavy traffic, something like that, like a bumper to bumper. So they will notice if you are good in driving or not. They also in the government have also you have to learn driving. You have that certificate before getting the license.
Okay, it sounds a bit like a driving test over here. Although over here now, you've got to take written tests or theory tests, so it's all done online.
Not written. It's actual driving tests mostly.
Yeah, so you ain't got no sit there behind a computer and take a load of. Multiple
Yeah, and also you must have undergo drug tests before get the license.
Really interesting as always, guys. Come visit Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. Maybe one day. Colin, best to move to Philippines when all refugees come. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Refugees.
Seems to the first time you're caught up with the chat. Yes. Good night, all. Many thanks for the stream, Kent and Alan. Thank you, Mondo. Yes, we're at the end of the chat, so we may as well call it a day and get out of here while we can. I'm in the Highlands of Scotland. Oh, I suppose fantastic scenery to look at then, or wake up to. It's more than we got here.
Mm.
I've got a tree out there and a parking lot out there. That's it. Right, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll call it a night. So, yes, it's been that will be the last of the Philippines for the time being. So when I get back out there again, we'll make some more. So anyway, Ken, I'll see you later. And everybody who's joined the live stream, thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. See you all in the next
Yeah.
video. Thank you, everybody, and bye.